when the Saints go marching in. Cows really like that one.
Cows?
Yes, cows, yeah.
What do they do?
You can just tell, like, they're grazing, heads are down. As soon as I start playing, they start to watch.
Do they start to follow you? Is it like the Pied Piper?
That's happened, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, a whole herd of them. I hiked the CDT with someone else who was carrying a ukulele. We went through this road walk by a bunch of different farms, and we had a whole herd of cows just follow us, running to keep up with us. And when their field ended, there was a new one, and a new herd of cows did the same thing.
Welcome to Backpacker Radio, presented by The Trek, brought to you by Topo Athletic. I'm your co-host, Zach Badger Davis. Sitting to my right is...
Hi, I'm Juliana Chaunce, a.k.a. Chaunce.
I have an impromptu question of the day for you.
Oh, okay.
You have to answer this honestly.
I always do.
Which of the two is more upsetting to you?
Oh, my God. Here
the
we go.
ceremony footage being lost or the Bills lost last night? This is going to be dated, obviously. I'm dating us, but...
Yeah, I think long-term the ceremony footage will hit harder, but I think I probably reacted poorly to both.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was thinking of you the entire time I was watching that game last night.
Yeah, Garrett has been trying to get me out of my little hole that I've been in because I'm like, can I never wear this jersey again? I didn't have a Josh Allen jersey. These rivalry jerseys are so sick, so I got one.
You like the all white?
Oh my God, yeah, and the metallic bill on the side is just like so cool. But first and only time I've worn it. So is it cursed? Can I never wear it again?
Yeah.
Did I just get a really sick jersey only to never be able to wear it? And what if I wear it again and then they don't do well? Is it my fault?
I think it is your fault, honestly.
Right. So Garrett's trying to convince me that that's not how things work and that like they're an independent group of people making choices that my choices have nothing to do with, but you still got to wonder. The last time I wore the white hat I was wearing was when they were playing the Ravens and I threw it off in the fourth quarter and then they came back. So maybe it's the white hat.
Where do the Patriots rank in terms of teams that you don't want to lose to? I assume Chiefs are number one.
Yeah, Patriots actually aren't that high on the list of people I don't want to lose to. I didn't want to lose to them at all back when like Brady was doing everything. Yeah. But there was just so many flags last night. It felt like there wasn't even a rhythm of football. It was just like a flag ball.
Cool.
You know?
Flag ball.
So that was annoying.
Yeah. Okay, that was Football Talk presented by The Trek.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a few reminders before we get to today's interview. First reminder is if you're taking on a long-distance trek in 2026 and you want to be part of the baddest team in the backcountry, hit us up. We're accepting applications to be Trek bloggers. Some of the features, just a very limited sampling here. We send mail drops out to some of our top contributors. You get featured on the Trek's expansive Instagram. You can easily display your hiking stats like your number of days hiking, how many miles you've trekked, how many miles you got left, etc. And we'll choose one lucky blogger to fly out and join us here on Backpacker Radio, and we'll put you up. We have an official date for 2025's episode.
When is it?
November 3rd. I still have to add it to the calendar.
So by the time that they listen to this, we will have already done it.
We will have already done it.
So can you finally tell us who it is?
Yeah. Jessica did I tell you this already?
I don't remember.
Stitches. She hikes the CDT directly into the GDT.
I feel like I've had a phone call with her. I think I've talked to her on the phone. I think I was in the car with someone. They were like, "Can you talk to Stitches?" And they handed me the phone, and I talked to her. I cannot remember who it was.
Cool.
Though.
So this will be your second interview with her.
Yeah, she'll remind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
She had good stories. We interviewed someone who had good stories of her, didn't we? Or is that a different Stitches?
Yeah, we did interview someone who had hiked with her. Was it? That might have been Daniel. It was somebody that it was like hiking through the Sierra.
Right, and they were telling the story about her
Stitches. Yeah.
And that was when I think I drove them to Union Station after the interview, and then they called funny? Stitches.
Wait, no, never mind. The episode will come out after this. We're recording it before, but it'll be released
in real time. It happened before this airs, but
Yeah.
when this airs, they won't have heard it yet.
No, but now they know. So
But
that's
now
what
they
they have to
know.
look forward to.
It'll
be a fun
short
one.
show.
It'll be a good one.
Okay.
Nextly is, I'm going to plug it again, Backpacker Radio's YouTube. We're doing YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, YouTube?
Hi, Internet.
We're just gaining more traction there. It's nice to be able to see the people, and I'm mostly just striving to get to a point where people stop coming up to me at trail days and being like, "You don't look like what I thought you would look like."
You're so much smaller.
Yeah, I don't even know what. No one has told me what they were expecting, but apparently it's not this. So.
I'm always shorter than they thought, and I feel like I set the bar pretty low.
We talk about it a bit.
Yeah, but they're still always surprised.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know though, because there was something that like very complimentary about the time that we were on the AT before trail days, and we were both in our individual tents, and someone walked by and stopped and was like, "Is that Zach and Chaunce?"
They could tell us by the voice. Yeah,
by the voices. I was
Had
like,
they-
"That's a really big compliment."
If they would have seen us, they might not have recognized us.
No, they wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
So
The visual would have thrown them off. But
yeah, find out what we look like.
Subscribe, comment, like, just go and start pushing buttons on the page.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, if you want to support the show, you can do so. Patreon.com/backpackerradio. We're very appreciative of everyone who keeps the lights on here, but also we run all of our episodes advertisement free through our Patreon.
Yeah. This is the best and biggest and most helpful way that you can get involved with keeping the show on air. If you do like what you're listening to, the money goes directly to us because it's our Patreon, so we can use it to obviously
takes a cut too.
Patreon does take a cut, so there's that. But we can keep our lovely staff who keep the lights up and running literally, because me and Zach don't have brains. You know, all the sweet Elises and Rachels and Paulies and Sarahs and Jesses of the world. And it's very, very important to have them all helping us, because we're just two people and this is a big show and there's a lot to do to get the great guests that we do, and having patrons that make that possible for us is just very, very, very nice and helpful, and we appreciate you so much.
Agreed. Well said. You can get it on the fund for as little as $5 per month, which in today's economy,
That's nothing.
nothing. Maybe we should raise it.
No.
$6.
Don't go crazy, Zach.
$6 per month.
$5.99.
Okay, let's get right to today's interview. Former Denver area hiker meetup attendee regular.
Mm-hmm.
There's a better way to say that. I didn't say it. Amy Hunsucker has hiked the AT, CDT, and PCT and did all three while carrying a trombone. You didn't bring it with you, did you?
No, I didn't.
What?
It's okay. You can mouth the sounds. In addition to triple crowning, Amy has hiked trails like the Foothills Trail, Art Loeb Trail, and Four Pass Loop, and now works as a backpacking guide for Blue Ridge Hiking Company. Slider, thank you so much for joining us here at Backpacker Radio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I often will start an interview by asking how you got your trail name. I feel like I already know the answer to that question, but tell the people who don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, so slider, trombone. A trombone has a slide. So it's just a nice, I like it because it's not immediately obvious what it represents if you don't see the trombone first.
Yeah. So you're carrying a trombone.
Yes, a plastic one.
Yeah.
So it's UL.
Yeah. Where do you find a plastic, like, is that a toy or is that like a real instrument? Like, who is buying ultralight trombones?
Don't let him insult your craft.
Right. No. Trombones obviously are a real deal, but like, who's buying ultralight trombones aside from backpack? You're the only one.
No, I've gotten this question a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for asking it. It's a company makes it for children because it's more lightweight. Like when I first started playing trombone in middle school, I could barely hold it up. It was so heavy. So having the plastic one, it's a much lighter option. Yes, typically for children, but it just happened to work well for backpacking as well.
Yeah. That's funny. That reminds me, I have a buddy from middle school who went on to be a professional paintball player. I don't even know what paintball warrior. Well, there's a terminology for it, I'm sure. And he used to train by like going around and running around carrying a cinder block, just like carrying something heavier than a paintball gun. Have you ever run around with a cinder block to train for a trombone?
I haven't.
Yeah.
But I do. I did meet the guy who triple crowned carrying a log.
Yeah.
That's it. That was an interesting one, but
We need to
good
get him
cause.
on the podcast. I think he's been on a couple of the Trek propagandas, but
What are your go-to trombone songs?
Yeah, so I really like Summertime. And then next favorite would be When the Saints Go Marching In. Cows really like that one.
Cows?
Yes, cows, yeah.
What do they do?
You can just tell, like, they're grazing, heads are down. As soon as I start playing, they start to watch. But if I play, like, a slower song, they're not as into it. But when I play, like, a march song like that, they really enjoy it.
Huh. Do they start to follow you? Is it like the Pied Piper?
That's happened, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a whole herd of them. I hiked the CDT with someone else who was carrying a ukulele. Two people. We hiked through most of Montana together, and we went through this dirt road walk, by a bunch of different farms, and we had a whole herd of cows just follow us, running to keep up with us. And when their field ended, there was a new one, and a new herd of cows did the same thing. That's probably the coolest one.
Wow. So they just handed you off to the next cows.
Pretty much, yeah.
Are there other animals that appreciate your musical prowess?
There were some horses there too on the other side. Not as much other animals. I did try to play for the ponies in Grayson Highlands, and one of them just tried to bite my trombone.
Sounds
Salty.
about right. Yeah.
Imagine she was like, yeah, I tried it with a mountain lion. Didn't really like it.
But I am missing a few fingers
Yeah.
now. All right, I want to talk a lot of trombone. We're on the subject. Give us the background. What is your musical background?
Yes, so I've been playing the trombone since I was in middle school. It's like 2006, I think, is when I started, and went to college for music education. Had plans to go to grad school, but put that off to hike the AT instead. And I read a book where I found out someone hiked the AT with a tuba in like 2000, 2001, Barefoot Sisters year, if y'all know who that is. And I thought I could do that, but I don't have to carry a brass trombone. I can get a plastic one. And I also just didn't want to go 5 months without playing trombone at that time, so I just decided to take it with me. And after I hiked one with it, I just felt like I should just have it on all of them.
Yeah.
How often are you playing?
Not very often. I'm not playing, I want to make it clear, I'm not one of those annoying musicians on trail, because there are plenty of those. I didn't really play for people unless they asked me to, and people ask me all the time. Like, I've never had a negative interaction. If someone didn't like it, they never showed it or told me, but I would only play at camp if people asked me to, and any times I played just because I wanted to, I'm usually alone or I'm playing for cows.
Did you ever have a well-timed, like, the sad trombone after somebody made a bad joke or something?
I can't, probably not. If I can't remember it, I don't think I ever did.
Yeah.
She's
I
hiding
did
the
in
corner of the
school.
shelter.
That's definitely happened in school. Like, I've done that then, but I don't think on trail, just because I have it like in my pack, so I can't just take it out quickly for it to make sense. It'd be like a whole minute later when I play it, whenever something happens.
Yeah. Here's an important question. Musically, how would you describe the trombone sound that sounds most like a fart? Like, is it a certain note with inflection? Like, if you wanted to replicate a fart noise with the trombone, could you do that?
I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I heard it a bunch in middle and high school. I don't have it with me,
Yeah.
so.
I feel like of
You
the
can
instruments,
definitely.
trombone is the closest to replicating a fart.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. It depends on the fart. How did you pick the trombone? I feel like that's not a middle schooler's first go-to choice.
Yeah, well, I thought when I was 12, I just thought it looked cool. And my sister played the flutes, and we're only a year apart, so we always got compared a bunch, and I resented her for that. So I wanted to do like the opposite of her, but mostly I thought the trombone looked cool because it's the only instrument with the slide. And that's all the thought that really went into it. I think subconsciously more the sister stuff went into that too.
Yeah. How do you stash it?
So a trombone, it comes apart into two pieces. So the slide comes apart from the bell piece, and it fits in the two side pockets of my pack.
Where do you put your water?
In the same pockets. I just have pockets big enough that fit both.
Ah, okay.
Did you ever play with other musicians on trail? Because, like, I feel like 1 in every 12 people on the AT's got a guitar. You ever have, like, a mini concert?
Kind of. I've tried to a few times. I'm not very good at jamming as much as I'd love to. I've played in jazz bands, but like improv, anything without music that I don't have memorized, I'm not very good at. But I did learn one song with Dine and Dash, who I hiked the CDT with, and trying to remember what, I can't even remember what it was called, but we had short days hiking through Glacier because that's where we started, so we had time to kill and just spent a few hours learning a song together.
So you've triple crowned. Did your playing frequency decrease as your hikes went on, or stay the same, increase?
Say, as the hike went on and I got more and more exhausted, I definitely played less and less.
Yeah.
It's a very physical instrument, so I didn't want to play it as often.
Yeah.
The further I got in, the more miles I was doing per day.
Are you learning new songs as you go, or are you playing from the same repertoire?
I did learn some songs. It was more on the AT, like on When the Saints Go Marching In. I didn't have that one memorized on trail. Someone's dad from my trail family met us in Grayson Highlands, brought us a bunch of trail magic, and he was a band director, so he helped me learn that one. But that's really the only time that happened. Most I just kind of have some memorized, or I have music on my phone to play.
Are there apps, like sheet music apps that you can use?
Probably. I think the ones I found you had to pay for, and I didn't want to do that, so I'd find just something online and take a screenshot of it and save it that way.
How big is your mental musical library? Like, how many songs do you have?
It's very small. Yeah.
You ever get sick of playing the same ones?
I think just because I didn't play very often, I didn't get sick of it. There were definitely times I wish I knew something else, but I wasn't making too big a deal out of that.
Yeah.
Are you looking for like the perfect acoustics while on trail, like finding caves or like certain shelters make for better?
Yeah, of course. Anytime there's a cave, those were great. One of my favorite acoustic places there, it's kind of between on the CDT and PCT. CDT and Yellowstone, this one campsite, it was kind of in a valley, so you could hear the echo really well, and the exact same thing happened at the northern terminus of the PCT. The echo was really nice. I had it all to myself, and that was a really fun few minutes I had there alone.
People in Canada are probably like, what's going on at the border? When the Saints. Do you find that your trombone takes, like, because it's such a distinctive thing, like, takes a big spot in what people, like, view you as or who they know you as on the trail? Like, is that a pretty dominating part of your personality that you have to get past?
Definitely. I wouldn't say necessarily personality, but it is the main way I got recognized on trail. Because on the AT, less so, because I had it kind of in a case. I had a pack that I couldn't just put it in the side pockets, so it was a little more hidden, just kind of attached to the back of my pack. But the CDT and PCT, when I had it out, like the bell sticks up over my head, it sometimes gets caught on stuff, so you can see it. It doesn't hide. People would recognize me because of that, not because like what I look like, but because of that. And then, I mean, Chaunce, you've done this. A lot of other people have done this. They don't remember my name. They just see the trombone, point at me, and say trombone. So that happens a lot.
I mean, it's an easy way to remember it.
It is. Yeah, it is.
But, like, I imagine, like, when I'm tired and I'm hiking, I don't want to talk to people. And I imagine a lot of the questions you get about your trombone are probably the same ones. Are you ever just, like, seeing someone look peeked up and curious by it, and you're just exhausted while hiking, and just in your mind, you're just like, shut up, don't even ask?
Yes, that, honestly, I'm very much an introvert, so that did happen a bunch, and I think I'm very good now at getting out of those conversations. But there was one particular moment hiking out of Pinedale. I had like 8 miles to get to the Cirque alternate, and it was a weekend. It was super busy. There are a lot of like weekenders out. So I only hike with one earbud in so I can hear what's happening, but this is the only time I put both in so I could pretend like I don't hear someone. I don't know that they want to say something to me, and I just head down, kept going.
It's a good strategy.
So the philosophy with gear is you want something that is has many uses. Have you ever used your trombone for anything non-trombone like you broke your tent pole and you had to use it as a structure, or like a makeshift beer bong or something?
No, I haven't. Honestly, I'm surprised we didn't do like a makeshift beer bong like at the end of one of the trails. I'm surprised no one had that idea, but no, I haven't really used it for anything else.
Would you do a beer bong out of it, or is it just like old saliva caked inside?
There would be old saliva caked inside. It's my own, so I would do it, but
that's how you clean it.
Okay, but also there was a group a day behind me who drank beer out of someone's prosthetic leg on the CDT. So
yeah, those things get
we're thru-hikers, so I think at the end of a thru-hike, all of our standards are much lower than like what they'd be right now when we're not hiking.
Yeah. Have you done a shoey?
No, I haven't.
Which do you think would be grosser?
I think oh my God, I don't know. Maybe the prosthetic leg.
No, prosthetic's the worst.
Yeah.
I was going.
I thought you were saying like trombone versus
the shoe. That's
versus the shoe. Yeah. Okay. Shoe would be worse.
Yeah.
Because it's not just sweat. I mean, well, I guess spit versus sweat, but then you've got the sweat and dirt and whatever else. People's feet are gross.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say the shoes would be worse.
Do you have to clean the trombone out between hikes or anything like that? Because I imagine there's dirt and dust particles and whatnot getting in there.
It collects rainwater, so like I'll dump that out every once in a while, but not a whole ton.
What about like spiders?
That hasn't happened. No. Thankfully, that hasn't happened.
Just breathing in.
More just water and leaves might
Yeah.
collect in it.
And I'm sure we'll have more trombone questions here, but let's talk about you, the person, the non-trombone parts of you. What was your origin to get into the outdoors?
Yes, so I grew up doing day hikes a bunch with my family, like both on my mom and dad. We always did day hikes everywhere. But the biggest thing that got me into backpacking was my mom took my siblings and I on 2 different big trips out west. I'm from South Carolina, never been out west before middle school, and we did those 2 trips, just day hikes, like glacier area the first time. And then in high school, we finished that trip with the Grand Canyon. We met some backpackers who were on their last day of their rim-to-rim trip, and that we talked with them for a while and piqued our interest and started to backpack from there. I went off to college. My mom would join meetup groups and learned different backpacking things from that, slowly collected gear over the years, and we'd always do weekend trips. I was only an hour away from home, and we were within a few hours of Appalachian Trail in Georgia, North Carolina, and some of Virginia. So we'd go on weekends whenever I could get away for college, and it's always on the Appalachian Trail, and eventually that led to a thru-hike.
So how many days would you say that you were on the AT prior to your thru-hike?
Don't know. It's really not that many. It wasn't an every weekend thing because college is busy, but it was always just 2-day trips. I think I did one 3-day trip, but I have no idea how many actual days, but it wasn't too much.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were pretty dialed in by the time you hit the trail?
I'd say so. I think mostly from books I've read, because I know a lot of people who get on the trail and don't finish it, get off. A big reason people get off is just it's not what they're expecting. And I think reading books by people who have thru-hiked helped me to understand what that mental struggle was going to be on trail, because I knew how hard the actual hiking was going to be. And then reading the books also helped me to understand how, like, it gets easier. Like, you're going to hurt, you're going to be sore all day, every day. But if this is something you enjoy, then you won't want to get off.
Yeah. You mentioned the Barefoot Sisters.
Yeah.
They have a book. Did you read that
2
one?
books. Yeah, I've read those. The first one I ever read was Becoming Odessa by Jennifer Farr Davis. That's the one that got me to want to thru-hike. Because before that, I had no intentions of ever doing that, because just the 2-day trips were so hard. I couldn't imagine doing that for like 100, 200 days straight.
Yeah. And you're working at Blue Ridge Hiking Company now.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah.
You said that people would compare you to your sister a lot growing up. Was it shocking for people around you when you decided to do the AT because maybe they pictured you going in a different path?
Not at all. I think it was a shocking thing just to hear that was something people do, but as far as what I was doing at the time just for fun, I don't think anyone in my life was surprised, and thankfully no one was unsupportive in my life about that decision.
All right, well, what was it like? How was it starting? Like, what, you have the trombone, you're taking off from Springer.
Yeah, I just remember that first thru-hike. I started March 10th on the AT hiking northbound, and it was just really, really cold. The first 2 days, I got rained on in the last 1 mile before camp of both of those trails. I got in a shelter the first night, so I didn't have to set up a tent in the cold. Second night, it snowed. I set up my tent in mud because it had already been raining, woke up to snow. It was really cold, so I felt like I was really thrown into the worst of it, and I loved it still. Like, I never wanted to get off, especially in those first few days. I think going through that really showed me that, okay, yeah, I think this is something I can do.
Yeah.
How cold does the trombone get when it's freezing outside? Like, I imagine a metal trombone, like, that's a big no-go. But
metal trombone, your lips can get stuck to the mouthpiece.
Really?
Yes.
Has that ever happened to you?
Not completely. But there are like some football games in high school where you have to just sit in the stands in between like whatever's happening, and you have to sit there and just keep blowing air in your horn, or at least blow air through your mouthpiece so your lips don't stick. If you don't do that, you're definitely at risk of it. And I haven't had it stick completely, but enough that I paid more attention to that.
Do you get like unsolicited advice from people being like, the trombone's too heavy, you should send that home? Or are people always like, that's cool, that's a fun novelty thing?
Yeah, I think it's more the second that people just think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think they're too surprised when they see it to like say anything. It's like, I get like, why do you have this? Why are you doing that? But not, and this is stupid. Why would you do that kind of way?
By Neil Gap, usually people will start to narrow down what's in their pack and get rid of some luxury items. Did you have any point in the beginning days of your hike where you thought, this is heavier than I thought it would be, like, fuck this trombone?
So on the AT, yes, not the trombone, but because I had it in a case to start off. This was in the Smokies, and I was trying to figure out a way to attach the trombone to my pack without the case, because the case is heavier than the trombone, and it's not like one of those like hard cases that weigh like really a lot, but weighs enough to be a noticeable difference. And I just didn't figure it out and dealt with it the rest of the time, but I switched out the pack I used after that, and that solved the problem.
What pack did you switch to?
What did I switch to? It was a small company. I don't remember what that one was called. I ended up switching from them because I had some problems with the hip belt on this one, but I use the Gossamer Gear Gorilla now, and that's one like I don't see myself changing from that.
Yeah.
Speaking of ditching luxury items, you made a very funny comment prior to starting the record that you don't believe that your trombone is a luxury item. Can you walk us through that mindset?
I don't know if I have a way to argue that now. You're right. It is a luxury item. I think of it more, when I hear luxury item, I think of like physical comfort. So yes, having like being able to play music on trail, that's a luxury, but my immediate luxury item thoughts is just more having like an extra lightweight blanket on trail, like for when it's really cold, or like a really nice pillow, something like that. But I do agree, trombone is definitely a luxury item.
Good. We won.
I was hoping for more of an argument.
Are there like is there a GOAT of the trombone world? Like, is there a best all-time trombonist?
I mean, right now, I have two favorites right now, like Trombone Shorty. That's one I think more people outside of the classical music, jazz music world would know. His stuff's really good. And then
You nodded. Do you know Trombone Shorty?
No, I was just
okay.
smiling at the name. It's funny.
Okay. Well,
You support all shorties.
Yeah, fan to all.
So he's like kind of a pop musician, but with, I don't think pop is the right way to describe his music, but he's more in that vein versus like what I went to school to study.
Yeah.
But his stuff's really good if anyone likes funk music.
Is it like Lizzo style where he's doing something else and then whips out a trombone and like gets the people going that
Kind
way?
of. He plays trumpet too. Yeah.
Trying to not demonetize us now that we're pumping all.
Oh yeah, now that we made it big.
Yeah. I mean, he sings too, but he plays the trombone and trumpet a lot more than Lizzo plays the flute.
I'm just laughing at Sean's going, dee, 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 dee. The internationally recognized way of telling me to YouTube something.
Look it up.
All right, I have to skip around so we don't get, because we've gotten a lot of demonetization.
Have we?
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Well,
That was probably enough.
yeah,
But
that was Trombone Shorty.
yeah, the tiny. Or the,
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh,
tiny
he was
desk
on
concert
Tiny
looks fun.
Desk.
Talk over the music.
Yeah, so this is.
He puts on a fun concert too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's less than 7 seconds.
Sure. We'll see about that. We'll see what the YouTube overlords think about that
Yeah.
one. Find our boundaries here. Okay, Trombone Shorty. Are there other, like...
I like the names. What's another trombone person's name?
I can't remember her last name. I know her first name's Aubrey. I haven't listened to her stuff in a while, but she's really good. Also a trombonist and a singer, similar style to Trombone Shorty. But my memory is not very good, especially for names. So I know her first name's Aubrey.
So there weren't like people that you looked to when you were in school for music as like, this is the best all-time trombone player.
I guess Trombone Shorty for me, because I learned about him through my dad, because my dad took me to a blues festival in Georgia, and that's where I saw him perform for the first time.
Louis Armstrong, he played the trumpet?
Trumpet, yeah.
Trumpet.
Oh, it's his version of Summertime that I learned to play that song on trail.
Got it. So are you playing the trombone at every terminus? Is that like one of the, like, definitely I'm celebrating the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you play the same song at every terminus?
The AT and the PCT, I played, what did I play? Summertime for both of those. And then I think I just did When the Saints Go Marching In for the CDT. But I had my trail family for the CDT. One of them had a ukulele. A couple of them had like mini instruments in, because we wanted to put on a little concert at the end. So
that's cool.
Some of them had like these tiny hand cymbals, and someone had like a small djembe, like the little drum with like the animal skin that pulls over the top. And we just ran around the monument, the Crazy Cook Monument, playing. I was playing When the Saints Go Marching In, and they were just kind of messing around.
That's funny. Is that on Instagram?
It is.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
It's going to be down all the ways.
I wouldn't have known if Chaunce hadn't. So after finishing the AT, did you know, was there any struggle in your mind about whether to carry the trombone? Like, you're like, I made it one trail, it's going to go the second trail?
I wasn't really thinking about another trail at first, because I finished it and was like, I don't know if I want to do this again. Like, I thought I'd be one and done. And then I moved to Colorado after the AT. The CDT was right here. It's like, if I can make it work, I want to do the CDT. And I wanted to bring the trombone. I don't think that was a struggle in my head.
Yeah.
Was the timing of the CDT just like because COVID's done?
COVID, and I also went to grad school here in Colorado. And that's just, I started the CDT a month after I graduated. So that all lined up really well.
Yeah. So you thought you were going to be one and done, obviously. Ended up doing all three. What was it that changed your mind?
I think just time away from the first trail. Like, you forget how exhausted you are at the end, and then you just remember. I mean, the AT is a very social trail, so I met a lot of really cool people, and even I like hiking alone, so I knew like being on the CDT, that wouldn't be a problem for me if I was alone for most of it. And that's the one that was there. It seemed like most people would do like the AT or the PCT and then save the CDT for last, but I didn't know if I'd be able to make all three trails work, and if I was going to choose the CDT over the PCT, CDT or the PCT, I wanted to do the CDT first.
You mentioned, I'm just jumping around a little bit, but because we're talking about both of them and you picking them in that order, you had a hot take before we started recording about the PCT.
Yes.
Care to share?
Sure. Start with, I enjoyed every single trail I've hiked. I love the PCT, but I do think it's overrated. It gets a lot of love from people that I think other trails deserve a lot more, especially the CDT. The CDT is my favorite trail. I love it so much. When I first moved to Colorado, I found out a lot of people did the same thing I did. They hiked a trail, usually the AT or the PCT, and moved to Colorado. And I met a lot of those people through the hiker meetups. And all the PCT people who had never been to the East Coast, and I'll preface this, I had never been to the West Coast before either. All of them, most of them, would say that they don't think they could hike the AT. They don't think it'd be, because it's not going to be as pretty as the PCT. It's not going to be as many views, which that's true, but doesn't mean it's not going to be as pretty. I can understand where some people are coming from, because humidity is something, definitely a different thing to deal with if you're not used to, but I hate to hear people completely riding off a trail without giving it anything like something good about it. And I just heard a lot of hate towards the AT. And I know like I'm coming from someone who grew up in the Appalachians, but it just really put a sour taste in my mouth. Not about the PCT, but about people who just won't give it a chance, because the AT is a beautiful trail. You don't have to have a 360 view all the time to have an enjoyable hike.
Did you feel that mentality at all from other hikers on the CDT?
No, not at all. I feel like there are a lot less, they're judgmental people on every trail, but I think the CDT attracts more people who are kind of have, they know what they're doing, they have like what they want to do reined in. There's less judgment between hikers about like, oh, this person doesn't look like they're going to make it. Like that happened a lot on the AT, where people would just automatically judge someone without even talking to them on whether or not they'll finish the trail. The CDT, I felt like, is a lot more welcoming, because you have to really know what you're doing when you're going into that one.
So is this conception that the PCT is overrated something that you formed prior to hiking it just because of the way that people who had hiked the PCT were acting? Or is it something that you got on the PCT after hearing all this hype and you thought, this is it?
I'd say it's probably a combination of both. Like I really went into it without, I mean, you can't go into anything without any amount of bias. But I do love the trail. Like I had a good time on it. But I think I mostly compare it to the CDT, because they're both like out west and a little more similar. The AT is kind of in a class of its own when you compare the three trails, but they both have like really nice views and really beautiful areas, great like biodiversity throughout the trails, and I just think the CDT's spots are better.
How long was it getting into the CDT where you realized like, oh shit, this thing rocks? Like this might be my favorite trail ever.
Well, I started in Glacier, so that's pretty immediate there, and then the Wind River Range is my favorite place I've ever been to. So I mean, before that, it's like I really like this one. I don't think I had a favorite at this while hiking it, but eventually sometime after hiking the AT and CDT, I get asked, which one do you like more? I say, I don't know. I can't really compare them because they're so different, but now I can definitely say I like the CDT better, but the AT is a close second.
Yeah. How do you get to that place where you bridge from I can't compare them, they're so different, to I've had enough time to reflect and now I think this one?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the trail culture on the CDT. The AT is really nice because you do get a lot of trail magic. You get a lot more people. I think I also just hit the CDT on a good year because it was post-COVID. For the most part, some things were, like some places we still had to like have a mask on, like if we were riding a transit bus or something somewhere, but a lot more people were going back onto the trail. So I think there are a lot more people out there that year than would be otherwise. But again, I don't know if that really made that much difference for me. I did have a hiking partner for most of the trail. And then I lost my train of thought with that. But I think overall the trail culture, I find it's the best just because there's less judgment between people, and there was just so much of that. At the start of the AT, I didn't talk to enough people on the PCT, or I didn't start at a normal place on the PCT either, so I didn't really get a feel for that. But from what I've heard from people who have, it seems more similar to the AT.
So I wanted to get to the flip-flop on the PCT, but what was the decision factor to go southbound on the CDT?
Anything I read or saw from people who hike the CDT showed me that the southbound hikers have a better time. And I did read that the CDT was made to be a southbound trail. Big thing is, like, if you go through Colorado northbound, you're going to be wading through a lot of snow. CDT, we still got some snow, but we got through most of the state with no issues. Like, it was a little cold at night, but it was definitely a lot more enjoyable than having to go through like just passes covered in snow all the time.
Do you remember the date? Do you remember the date that you cleared the San Juans?
Yes, it was like end of September, beginning of October. I don't remember the exact dates.
Yeah.
But we did the whole like San Juan's round. We had to, the people I was hiking with, we did hike down to, we like made our own alternate and hiked down from the ridge. But that first day hiking down from the ridge ended up being one of my favorite days. It was an easy dirt road walking down into this really nice campsite. It was September, so like the aspens were like at their peak fall colors, and we had this really nice campsite right by a water source. We had a privy, and that was really nice. And it's cool, kind of cool to see the snow falling on the ridgeline that we would have been walking on, but we didn't. And hearing what it was like up there from other hikers who stayed up there, we definitely made the right decision because it did not sound fun for them. But then also when you're hiking southbound in Montana, you're kind of between 8,000 feet. Wyoming, you get up to like 12,000 feet. It helps you prepare more for the elevation of Colorado. If you're hiking northbound, you're New Mexico. I don't remember what the highest elevation is, but you're in the lowest elevation state, and then you immediately jump into the highest elevation state. That on top of like hiking through all the snow makes it seems like a lot harder, and I don't feel like I would have enjoyed Colorado nearly as much if I was dealing with that.
Yeah. It seems like most northbound hikers take the Creed cutoff, and like that's such a good stretch of trail there like you're definitely losing some of the experience. Flip-flopping the PCT, that's not conventional. I feel like the vast majority of PCT hikers are northbound and then southbound. I don't know if I've actually met anyone who's like set off for an intentional flip-flop. Like I know sometimes weather will dictate that mid-hike, but walk us through the decision to do that.
Yeah, so I had gotten permits to hike the PCT northbound. I think my original start date was like May 15th, and then I was able to get a better one in like mid-April, but it was 2023 when I hiked it. It was a very high snow year. I was already kind of thinking I might want to try a flip-flop, but originally decided not to just because that's just extra logistics I didn't want to deal with. But then when I heard about the snow and how most people probably just wouldn't be able to hike through the Sierras that year unless you had like mountaineering experience, which I don't. Avalanches scare me, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I decided to do a flip-flop, and I was able to call up the PCTA and switch it to a flip-flop permit very easily. I found out I used Reddit, the PCT page on Reddit, to figure out like a good place to go, and Chester, California is where I started. Went northbound from there. I went back to Chester and finished going south.
What was your start date?
June 21st.
What is the process like to get back to Chester from the border?
Yeah, so from, is it Mazama? That's that northernmost town. So I was lucky to get a ride with, there was a couple who had a van that they were driving back up to Alaska, and they offered to take anyone to Seattle that they wanted to. So I got a ride there. I stayed with a friend from the AT for a few days, and then I took an Amtrak as close to Chester as I could in like 3 different shuttle buses. One of the shuttles will take you directly to the trail in Chester, and I didn't have to stop in town, so I just like $5 and I took it straight to the trail.
It sounds both convenient and not convenient.
Yeah.
I imagine starting in Chester with how much snow there was that year, you still saw a good bit of snow. Is that a fair assessment?
In one section, yes. So it was it was before I hiked into Dunsmuir. There was one 15-20 mile section that was just completely covered in snow. It was late in the year, so it was all packed down, so it was pretty easy to walk on, but it was a lot of snow, so if you saw a PCT tag, it was like at your feet. So it's just a lot of just keeping my phone out, making sure I'm going the right way and not falling into one of those like ditches that the snow makes into the trees.
Yeah,
tree rows. And
it was just that 15-20 mile stretch, and you didn't really see snow after that?
That's really the most prominent one. There might have been a few places with a little bit, but nothing like that after it.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
Did you run into many other hikers? I know obviously the snow can disrupt the bubble rhythm for people. Did people get exploded into your realm?
Yes. So I did meet people who hiked through the Sierras, like straight through in the snow, but most of the people I saw had flipped forward basically to where I started. So I started around a huge bubble of PCT hikers.
What was that like with them being X miles into the hike already and you just starting off?
Yeah, it was fun. It just, besides me not being able to do 25, 30-mile days at that point, it felt like a normal trail. Like I wasn't really trying to hike with anyone on that specific trail. But, just it felt kind of like the AT, just with the amount of people that were there. And it was nice. It just immediately thrown back into a through hike.
Yeah.
I liked that.
So more people there than the CDT?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
One thing that we've heard from multiple people, just like in general, about the PCT, but other trails too, is the further along it you get and the more solid trail families become, the harder it is to then join one, because people are tired and they're not as excited to make new friends maybe because it's not right at the beginning and, they're comfortable in what they've got. Did you find you being at the start of your hike when people were that far into theirs made it more difficult to like kind of hike with a trail group, or was it just wasn't on your radar?
It just wasn't on my radar. I kind of got in with one trail family. It was only 3 people, and 2 of them, they were a couple, they got off at some point, like once we got into Ashland, just for a wedding, like they got back on again, but I didn't see them again after that. But I kind of hung around them because I was trying to get my mileages up without hurting myself, because it was still like in the first few weeks of my hike, and they convinced me to take a 0-day in Etna, so I stayed with them. And the third person, we kept kind of flip-flopping between Etna and then the northern terminus. So he's the closest thing I had to a trail family, even though we never really hiked together. But overall, I really wasn't trying to hike with anyone for that trail.
Do you remember what date you got back to Chester?
I know I was at the northern terminus August 17th.
Okay.
And probably maybe a week, 5-6 days later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I don't know exactly.
Yeah. And what was the weather like going south from there?
It was really nice. Yeah, going southbound through the Sierras was really nice. And I know I was ahead of the main Sobo bubble by that point, but a lot of the people who flipped forward and skipped the Sierras had flipped back down if they were able to get a permit to do that. And they were either going north or southbound through it. And there were also a lot of JMT hikers, so there was still like a bunch of people out there. It was once I passed through Kennedy Meadows South and I was in the desert, I just stopped seeing almost any people.
What was that like?
I liked that. Yeah. I don't mind. I think the AT, I didn't like camping alone. I was scared because I'd never done it before, except for like one time before I thru hiked. And then the CDT, I spent a lot more time alone. So by the time I got on the PCT, camping alone was no issue for me.
What was it like with the flip-flop going from, same question but different, going from the border back down to Chester, in that when you get to the border and it's an end point for so many people and it's like we're finally done, we finally made it, like, we're finally here, and you've still got half the trail left. How do you keep your mind like in the zone there? Because like when I got to the northern terminus, I had always had the mindset of I'm going to go back and do the Sierra, right? And then I got there and I was just like, man, I'm so freaking tired. I just had this great time with these great people and I just finally made it here, and the last thing I want to do is go back down there and like clean up miles by myself. Like it was very hard to get my mind to want to do that, because I felt like my mind saw the terminus and was just like, we're done, we're good.
Yeah.
Did you have those similar feelings seeing it, or was it like you had prepped enough to tell yourself, okay, no, we're only halfway?
I think it helped that I was at the northern terminus alone. There was a big group of people that were coming in. They were probably, like when I started hiking away, they were less than a mile from there, and being there without like the people celebrating the end of the thru hikes, maybe that helps. I don't think I would have been upset that I still had more left, because I was really looking forward to getting to the Sierras especially, and I also just really enjoyed hiking through the desert in like New Mexico in the fall, so I was looking forward to seeing how like Southern California was going to be for me as well. No, I wasn't ready to get off at all.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one day throughout your thru-hiking career, what was your best day on trail?
Okay. Okay, well, first one that comes to mind is in the Wind River Range. I hiked over Knapsack Col and then went through the Titcomb Basin and like the lakes there. Went for a nice swim, and this is a part of the trail I was hiking alone when me and my like friend I hiked with, we went different ways. And it was just a really nice day on my own. I started the day hiking with like another hiker. We kind of gone back and forth and keep running into each other on trail as you do with a lot of people. And it's just a perfect day out there, a nice day for a swim. Let the sun dry me off. And then I also saw a wolverine that day, so that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a fun one for the bingo card.
Yeah.
Yes, got hissed at by a wolverine.
Wow. You got too
hiss
close?
back with your trombone?
Well, we both kind of surprised each other. There was this big boulder, and the trail kind of went around. It looks kind of like going around a corner, and then it was just there. It hissed at me and then just turned around and ran off.
How big was it?
It's a pretty big one. Yeah, as far as I know, like whatever.
That's
Whoa.
big.
I know it happened too fast. Like I wish I could have gotten a photo of it,
Yeah.
but as far as I'm aware, it looked like an adult-sized wolverine.
Wow.
I didn't realize how
Google's
rare it
what
was to see
adult-sized
one until
wolverine.
like years later. I looked it up, and there's only like a few hundred
Yeah.
of them in the world, or
Yeah.
at least in the U.S.
Huh.
Yeah.
Have you ever played your trombone for an animal and it wasn't a fan? Maybe not hissing, but like immediately running off?
Not really running off, more just ignoring.
Yeah, doesn't
I
care.
mean, the ponies, one of them tried to like eat it, but like they try to bite all of your gear
Sure.
because they're trying to get like the salt
Yeah.
in your stuff. So that makes sense they were doing that.
it's a sign of appreciation,
yeah.
I think, more than anything.
Yep.
A hissing wolverine's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
It was.
I've only seen photos. I didn't know like what the scale of those,
Yeah.
how big they got.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, same question. Worst day on trail?
Okay. It's probably on the CDT too. I had problems with my pack because the specific hip belt I was using, and like different gear companies use the same one, where it tightens from the sides instead of from like where it clips in the middle.
Mhm.
So it sits right on my hip bones. And like I've always lost weight on a thru hike, and as I lose weight, my hip bones stick out more, and it was pushing against the hip belt, so it was loosening it. So not even exaggerating, every 5 to 10 seconds I was having to tighten it over and over again, and it just rubbed my skin over and over again. It just started to tear at my skin, and the Lucre tape I used to try and create a barrier did not help. Eventually I stopped using that, and it got a little bit better, but there was the one day where I had Lucre tape on there, and I was just in a lot of pain. I had to like pull it off, and that's probably like one of the worst days with that, just trying to take that off and just being over that day. I was a lot slower than the rest of my trail family, and it was normal for me not to hike as far in the day as the rest of them, but usually the next day I might catch up because I'm the one that gets up early. That was one of the days I did not catch up to them.
Scariest day on trail?
Nothing to do with bears, I can say that now. I mean, I've hiked through some thunderstorms. I remember one spot up north on the AT where I was on kind of a more exposed ridge. It wasn't like New Hampshire, White Mountains exposed, but enough that kind of scared me a little bit because there was lightning pretty close by. And then same thing, thunderstorm. I was hiking up on the CDT, this not like a big mountain, but like enough of a hump that it was just completely open. and I didn't notice the clouds coming in until like I turned the switch back almost to the top. I saw it and I had to hide out under a tree and from some hail, and like none of it was stopping, so I just had to set up my tent on top of a layer of hail and go to bed at 4 o'clock. Oh wait, no. Okay, I do have one. I set up my tent on a ridgeline because a comment on Far Out, this is on the CDT too, a comment said that this is a really nice place. You can see sunrise on one side, sunset on the other side. I didn't have service, so wasn't able to check any weather updates. I was woken up at like 11 p.m. to like a raging thunderstorm right over my head. One of the stakes from my tent came out, and I had to like get out and like rehammer it in, and I did it to the rest of them so none of them would come out either. And I was just sitting up in my tent. I have a trekking pole tent, so I was sitting up and holding on to the trekking pole, just hoping nothing falls over, and for 45 minutes until it stopped.
Damn.
Yikes.
That one was scary.
Yeah. And you said this was on the CDT. Where in the CDT?
Somewhere in Colorado. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. All right. How about so on the AT, we were staying in a hostel and we were getting ready to get back on trail, and my socks were still a little bit damp from like doing like a hiker trash, washing it in the sink. So my brilliant idea to dry them off was to bake them in the oven at a very low temperature, and I burnt a hole in my socks. I prefaced that by asking, "What's your stupidest moment on trail?"
Okay. Well, I did almost burn a hole in his sock because I put it too close to the fire.
See, it's easy.
I mean, I burned half my shoe off.
Oh no!
Right outside of Belden.
Yeah.
On that climb out. So
Hikers be cooking their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we cook.
Yeah, none of us was sitting by the fire either. This was at that nice campsite when we hiked down like in the San Juans, and we had a really nice day hiking into it. We got a fire going, and I put my one sock by the fire because I accidentally submerged an entire foot into the water when I was trying to collect water. And then we were all sitting at a picnic table, and someone else noticed that it was starting to smoke. Yeah. Thankfully, soon enough that there was no hole in it. Like, I still use those socks now, but that was definitely a close call. That same day, this is actually the stupidest thing. Same night, while my sock is almost burning by the fire, the pot that I use comes with its own like insulation thing that it sits in. So like after I cook it, I can pick it up with like this rubber thing and put it in there so I can hold it immediately after I heat it up. I'm always really good about taking the pot out of that before I put it on my stove, except for one time at this picnic table, and then flames shoot up, and thankfully I'm able to turn it off quickly before anything happens, and everything was fine. That's never happened again.
You were cooking a lot of stuff that night.
Yes. Yeah. There were like 5 or 6 of us there.
Yeah.
So it was not something that happened alone that I could keep from other people from knowing.
Yeah. If you had to re-hike either the AT or the PCT, taking out the CDT, which one would you pick?
AT.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Because I mean, I think it'd just be easier just without the permit system. And also, I think it'd be a cool one to try southbound, because I haven't done it southbound. But also, I have interest in doing the Eastern Continental Trail. Mm. So, I mean, I'd have to hike the AT again for that one anyways.
Yeah.
Mm. That'd be fun. Yeah. When would you do that?
When?
Yeah.
When money allows me to. That's the big
I didn't know
thing.
how concrete the plans were yet.
I would do it next year if someone wants to bankroll me.
So speaking of money, your current 9-to-5 is your backpacking guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I work for Blue Ridge Hiking Company, which is the hiking company started by Jennifer Farr Davis, although she sold it in 2022. So I got to work with her for a year, and then she sold it. But Lindsay Barr is the owner now, and she was already working there. So it's best case scenario, like It's a really great place, and I've really enjoyed it. I started off as the caretaker of the hostel that we have in Hot Springs, North Carolina. The hostel's called the Appalachian Trailer. It's in the same town as the Laughing Heart Hostel, which more people would recognize that name. Did that for 2 years, and then always wanted to move closer to the city and do more guiding because I wasn't able to guide as much because running the hostel, that was a one-person job. So like I lived in the hostel. It's 10 beds, so it's not a lot. So you just taking care of the property, doing shuttles for thru-hikers, section hikers, and then the group trips that we have out, we keep the backpacking gear for that at the hostel as well. So whoever the caretaker is in charge of that gear, setting it out for trips, cleaning it afterwards, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, now I guide. So day hikes, backpacking trips on the Appalachian Trail, Pisgah National Forest, Smoky Mountains, and just Asheville area places that we have permits to guide in.
Yeah. How did you like the caretaker job?
I liked it, and I liked it, but it was a lot for one person during busy season. It definitely gets overwhelming because the hostel is also the place that I lived in, and Hot Springs is a very small town, so like it's nice when hikers are coming through, but then when the off season, if you don't know people in the town, it can get kind of lonely. But thankfully I got really close with the owners of the Laughing Heart Hostel at the time, so I had some people to hang out with, and eventually I met more people in town, but the slow season was very slow.
Yeah.
And then busy season, there's not really a lot of time for rest. And someone who likes their alone time, it's hard to get that when there's 5 to 10 hikers staying, even just one other hiker in there. It's different having like one person in your space versus no one there.
For sure.
What is it like seeing things from that side, like seeing hikers from the caretaker angle? What are your pet peeves or the things that people wouldn't instantly think of? Let us behind the curtain.
I think the big one, I think we all know, like when someone, I think understanding shuttle prices, that's a big one because shuttles are expensive. But there's a reason for that. A lot of the roads can be kind of harder to drive on, and it can be hard on the vehicles. But also, when I take someone an hour and a half to drop them off somewhere, I have to drive that same distance coming back. So if you're paying for a shuttle, you're paying for that as well because that's your shuttle driver's time taken out of that. So it's still expensive, and I definitely try and find free rides when I'm through hiking, but I also understand the prices, especially at like the CDT Northern Terminus, Southern Terminus. Those are expensive shuttles, but it's like for the Southern Terminus, it's like a 3-hour drive. It's not easy. It's very rough on any cars, so it sucks to pay that much, but it makes sense.
Yeah. I would imagine that a lot of thru hikers probably think that being a hiking backpacking guide is like the dream job. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on the kind of person you are, because I don't hike at all like I do when I'm hiking alone, because this is like someone's vacation and you have to cater the hike to what they want, and you're not going to be hiking fast. Like if you're a fast hiker, you have to slow down. You have to make sure you're not pushing these people too hard. Every once in a while, you'll get some people who can kind of like who want to go a little quicker, but for the most part, you can't go hike how you want to. But at the same time, even though you're doing a lot of the same trails over and over again, you get to meet a bunch of different people. I get all the same questions, but I also get to hear stories from different people every time that come in. So I still, at least for me, it's worked out. That was one thing I was a little worried how much I would enjoy it, being someone who is very introverted, but I don't see myself doing anything else right now. So thankfully it's worked out for me.
Do you have certain tips to get past the introversion as a hiking guy? Because I'm generally pretty introverted myself, and I feel like that would be surprisingly challenging for me to not only hike but like engage someone else in conversation the entire time, and like obviously the entire focus is on them. Like, do you have any tips for somebody listening to this that might have a similar description?
Yeah, I mean, you can just treat these people kind of like there's someone else you're meeting on trail, like on a thru hike. I've never had it so easy talking to people like I have when I'm thru hiking. And if I'm having trouble making conversation, I just approach it that way. And yeah, again, lost my train of thought with that. It's just, I don't know. I'm not the best at keeping conversation going. Like, I can read. Sometimes I get people that like they don't really want to talk that much. They just kind of want to be with themselves in nature. But most of the time, the people I have, like, they keep the conversations going themselves, especially with me having done so much like other hiking. There's plenty to talk about. They'll always ask me about that stuff. And then if there's just a complete lull in conversation, I know people want to say something, I'll just like randomly say, do you want to hear about the time I saw a wolverine on trail?
Yeah. How big are the groups?
I mean, I've taken people out by themselves, and we also do like corporate day hikes. So like we've had up to 40, 50 people. It's like,
but you're not by yourself when there's
no. So it's usually like one guide per 10 people.
Okay.
Yeah. So when there are those big groups, we'd have multiple guides.
Yeah. And how long are the trips typically?
Well, for day hikes, we do like half day and full day, which is like 4 hours or 8 hours. And then for private trips, people can determine how much within that time frame they actually want to do, or if they want to do longer than that. Backpacking trips, anywhere from 2 days to like the longest one I've done is 7 days. So it's as long as people want to do, because we do a lot of private trips, and if someone wants to do like 2 weeks on a trail, we can do that, as long as it fits within our permits.
Yeah. So you were living in Asheville when the Hurricane Helene hit last year. What was that like?
So my dad was visiting me at the time, and I have an aunt and uncle that live up in Weaverville, just north of Asheville, and we were staying in their house, and I was sleeping in one of the rooms down kind of in the basement, and you can't really hear anything down there. So the main storm happened overnight. I slept through everything, didn't wake up at all.
Do you have any idea of like how intense it was going to get?
I figured we would lose power. I didn't know how bad that it was going to be, because we've had hurricanes, like the edge of hurricanes, come close to us, and you get a thunderstorm, you might lose power for a little bit. But I mean, no idea that it was going to be that bad and that devastating for so many people. And I was very lucky that it wasn't that bad where I was. I mean, I saw the next morning, didn't have power, and then we walked outside and saw like a bunch of trees down, power lines down everywhere, and not able to contact anyone. So in my case, I was definitely one of the better off ones. My dad was able to get a flight out of Charlotte instead of Asheville, since the airport was still down. And then my mom lives in South Carolina, so my roommate and I just drove down to there. I think it took about 10 days for us to get water and power back. And then we went back, and and thankfully, we're both backpackers, so the water was back, but it wasn't clean. So you had to boil it or filter it in some way. And then she has this big water tank, really nice filter thing that she already used. So we were able to do that instead of boiling water or using like a small little Sawyer squeeze to filter all of our water.
And I saw that you volunteered in some of the recovery efforts.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I did some volunteering in Marshall and Hot Springs, and then around the River Arts District in Asheville. I would say all of them had great systems set up. Like they would have like PPE gear. I don't know. It's not a hazmat suit, but like a more watered down version of it they give us to wear. Marshall is one I went to more often. They had a really great system set up. So like they had volunteers just to get people set up in the gear, because most of us were just like shoveling mud that had probably some toxic stuff in it. I got a headache one day doing that and had to not do any of the volunteering for a little bit.
Even through the intense gas mask, it looks like Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. And then afterwards, when you get back, like they have a shuttle to take you to the downtown area. Shuttle brings you back, and they have like a whole cleaning system. So like the mask that you wear, you put it through like the different buckets, dump it in, and same thing with everything else. And then the suit comes off, and they have people donating different things so they can keep replacing the suits and everything.
Yeah. How was the spirit of the town, both during, after, now, I guess? What was that like?
It was really good. There's one nonprofit called Beloved Asheville. I was not aware of them, but they were running a lot of, at least from what I was seeing on Instagram, I'm sure there are other groups as well, but that's the main one I was following for like recovery efforts in Asheville, like the actual city area. Just seeing that, and everyone online, other people I knew who were like going out to help. They had volunteers hiking to people's homes where like they couldn't leave their homes because the road was completely washed out, and that was while I was in South Carolina, so I wasn't able to do that part. But it was really nice to see like the humanity come out of everyone. Everyone was in such a devastating thing that we never thought would happen in the mountains, so the community really came together.
How are things now?
Definitely better. Certain places are for sure better off than others, but as far as a hurricane hitting the mountains goes, things are definitely looking better. I know the River Arts District marquee building was one of the really big ones hit in downtown Asheville. That's opened. I think they had like a grand opening on the 1-year anniversary of the storm just a few weeks ago. So there are a lot of artists in Asheville, and a lot of them lost a bunch of their work from that. So it's really cool to see that back up because it's such a big part of Asheville as a city. And then small towns are the ones I'm aware of are a lot more open. So like Hot Springs, it has a lot of their businesses are open. They might not be in the same place right now, but they're opened up, and they have plans to still get the rest of it opened up. Same thing with Marshall. I haven't been there in the last few months, but I mean, they've held a lot of fundraisers, and they had a whole like concert where a bunch of local artists went to play, and you could donate any money. They had it was just a really cool night to see that community come together and help to donate more time and money to helping rebuild that area. So most of these places are accepting people to come in. They want tourists to come, and definitely from what I've heard, tourism is down a lot in this area because some people might not think that they can go, but most of these places you can go to.
Yeah, it certainly seems like numbers on the AT are down considerably this year because I think obviously the messaging was unclear for very good reasons when people are typically planning their thru hikes. So I think people just pivoted to other trails this year because, just felt slower trail days. Like every report that I've gotten was numbers were pretty far down this year. So it makes sense that tourism has probably suffered a little bit too.
Yeah.
I see that you have a Sawyer certification.
I do.
Yeah, level B.
Yep, B for bucking. I don't want to cut any trees down that are standing.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the plan with the cert?
Yes, so after the hurricane happened, I didn't have a winter job because guiding seasonal. And while I was in South Carolina, I ended up finding a job with the Palmetto Trail Conservancy. So I worked on that crew, and that's where I got the Sawyer certification from. And I found out about like you have to get like an official card to work with like the Forest Service with it, because I was just on that crew. That's the only place I used it. And then leaving that, I'm now using it to help out with the Carolina Mountain Club, which is the volunteer trail maintainers in my area.
Yeah, tell us about that work.
It's great. That's me. The first time I did any trail maintenance was with the CMC, and which is why like I knew I'd be interested in working on a crew like the Palmetto Trail, like I did last winter. And I knew trail work was very hard, but I'd never done it before. I was very interested in how a trail is made. Like, how do you make steps into a trail? Like, how do you build like a trail from scratch? And it was really cool to get into that and learn it. And especially after being in a conservation corps, really understanding that process now and like being able to go out without anyone else. Like, I could build a trail now. Like, I know how it's done.
Can you explain the Sawyer certification to me? Because my dumb brain is thinking Sawyer squeeze level Sawyer, but you're talking about trees. So where am I missing a connection here?
So Sawyer certification, it means a chainsaw. And there's bucking and then there's felling. So felling is cutting down like a tree that's still standing. Bucking is cutting anything that's already fallen down. And they have the certification in 3 levels, A, B, and C. Level A means that you can use a chainsaw, but you have to have at least a B or a C level with you, so you can't be alone doing it. Level B, you can be alone to cut trees, whichever it's bucking or felling. C means you can teach the certification.
And is there a relation to Sawyer water filters, or is there just like a simpler name?
I think
Sawyer?
it's just the name.
Interesting. How long does it take to get the certification? What's the process?
It was a 3-day course for me. The first day was like inside in a classroom, and the teacher just went over all the basics for everything. And second day, we went outside. Thankfully, I had a small class, so we were all able to try it out multiple times. And then the third day was the testing, and they had like a list of things to grade us on and on how well we did. And so I think any of us would have gotten, as long as no one was just making the absolute worst mistakes, most people will get an A for it. And I was thankfully able to get a B for the first time taking it.
What is Chainsaw 101 for someone like me who just knows that you turn it on and it starts to zzz, and then you point it at the tree? And
Right. So minus like the maintenance and like learning how to turn it on properly and all of that, biggest thing you want to prevent is, safety and just not getting your saw stuck. So being able to read like how a tree is lying down, if it's leaning against any other trees, if there are, you need to learn how to read, it's called like a bind in the tree. So if it's, the tree falls down, if it like leans up against another tree in a specific way, it changes where the bind is in the tree, like where the pressure is put on this whichever side of the trunk of the tree. And if you cut from the wrong side, it's going to pinch the saw and it's going to get stuck. And then sometimes it's really, really hard to get it out. Going out with the crew I was on, we got 2 saws stuck. The second one got stuck because we were trying to get the first one out, and then that one got stuck again. Had to use a third saw to get it out that thankfully did not get stuck, but that's pretty typical to happen for people who are newer into that. And even like the people I worked with who have been doing it for decades, that still happens.
What's the top tip for not fucking your shit up?
So you want to wear chaps.
John's nodded. She knew where it was going.
Yeah. We call them chaps. We have like these long, I don't really know what the material is, but if a saw like bounces off of something and like hits your leg, the chaps will keep it from cutting your leg. So wearing the right protective safety gear, so chaps, helmet, safety goggles, all of that good stuff.
Special gloves?
I didn't have those in the Corps, but I did learn after that with someone in CMC that they do have like gloves. I mean, you wear gloves, but there are the same material that like chaps, like the pants would be wear. You can do that with gloves too.
Okay.
And I see.
I'm still new to this. There are people who know and can explain this way better than I can.
No, but see, I need someone like you who's new at it, because someone who knows too much is going to explain it too scientifically.
Okay,
I need my nice little watered down, easy to enter version.
Okay.
Have you ever tried to make anything with a chainsaw, like
Ooh.
a bear?
No. That would be cool though. I've watched other people do that, but I could not do that.
Yeah.
At least at this point, I haven't been doing it long enough.
Tell me about the South Dakota Centennial Trail.
Yes, I love that trail. One of my friends from the Appalachian Trail, he lived in South Dakota. Well, he's from South Dakota, and then when I had moved to Colorado, I was within driving distance of it, and I wanted to do a hike. I don't remember if he suggested it or if I was just looking for something and found it, but someone had the idea to do it. We tried to get other people from our trail family to join, but we were the only ones who did. And it was really cool. I'd never been to either of the Dakotas before. So it was nice to see a new state, an area I was completely unfamiliar with, and it helped, to have someone that was from there. So we were able to find our way around easily, and then having a second person with their car, we were able to put our cars on the other side and not have to pay for a shuttle. But it was a really cool trail. I loved it.
How long is it?
125 miles.
Okay.
Where's it start and end?
It starts we started on the Bear Butte side on the northern end and hiked down to, I think it's Wind Cave National
So it's a
Park.
north-south.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I don't know why I pictured it east-west. Yeah, Wind Cave's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Did
Mhm.
you go into the Wind Caves?
No, we didn't. Yeah.
Is it pretty flat?
No, there is a good, it's the Black Hills, so not mountains, but the northern end, I believe that was the more steep part of it, not super steep, but more up and down for that trail. Compared to the AT, it's not bad, but still we were a year off the AT and still taking our time, not doing more than 10, 15 miles. Although we ended up doing a 25-mile day because we took a wrong turn somewhere. The first part of it, you're going through more grassy fields before you get to the Black Hills part. But that was only the first day. But there are a bunch of cows that will make their own trail through the grass, so you have to really pay attention to where you're going, and they will also rub against the wooden posts that they have out there marking the directions to go. So sometimes they move the posts to point a different direction, and we got turned around, and a 15-mile day turned into a 25-mile day. Yeah.
It just reminds me of that buffalo we saw on the Trans-Catalina that was just rubbing its ass on the pole.
There's probably
Trying to
buffalo
change the
during the
signage
day.
to fuck us up.
Yeah, we saw a lot of buffalo on this trail. I almost walked right into the path of one on it. But thankfully, I had other people there that were very quietly saying my name at first. And then one person yelled it. I looked up and the buffalo was not quite as close as that corner, but pretty close to that. I was way too close to it, and it was staring me down. Thankfully, we're okay.
Do people get trampled by buffalo? What's the stats?
Yeah,
on
they get gored. They get gored
Does it
very much
happen
so.
regularly?
Yellowstone.
Wasn't
yeah.
that there's a
People get
kid
gored.
that got thrown into the air by one in Yellowstone?
I mean, there was one
a
July
few
where
years
there was
ago.
3 at once, one July.
And you're not talking about the bills, right?
No. I've told this on the podcast before, but when I was at Yellowstone National Park and we were doing the little boardwalk hike to Morning Glory, there was a U around one of the geysers or whatever, geothermal pools, whatever, hydrothermal, whatever they're called, and going around it on the lollipop part of the lollipop back to the stick. A bison started freaking walking up the stick, and I'm on the lollipop portion, just surrounded by burning liquid, and this thing's walking freaking at me, and I'm just thinking about this article I read that July of whenever 3 people got gored in Yellowstone. Nevertheless, I live, but yeah, they're scary.
Oh, damn.
They're
According to
fucking
this, Olaf and Kaslik identified bison as the most dangerous wildlife species in Yellowstone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
4
I believe
people are
that.
injured by bison on average per year. Damn.
That's because people want to take photos. They don't realize that they're not just big cows.
Yeah.
Yellowstone does seem like a pretty strong display of Darwinism.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is this a good shoulder season trail? 125 miles seems like a good amount of miles to do on some PTO. Is this one where the temperature would be friendly year round, or does it get weather?
I'm not sure about year round. I did it in June, so it could be a good one to do like before a southbound hike. The weather was really nice for us. I mean, there are some bugs and mosquitoes, but I don't remember them being too bad. I do know the only like guide anything for it that I knew of was just like a book written by a couple who did it in section hikes, and they did it in the fall, and so they didn't really report any water sources because it gets really dry in the fall. So like I knew if I was going to hike it, I'd want to do it more in the spring. And then having a friend that was in South Dakota who's like, June would be a good month, weather would be nice, and we didn't really have any problems finding water. I don't know if it's on far out now or not. I hope it is, because it'd be really nice to have like actual water sources listed and knowing like what the conditions of them at different points of the year. But the booklet I got was still nice, even with them being section hikers. They still, besides water, everything else was very helpful from the book.
Looks like might be 111 miles. It looks like during the month of June, July, and August, the established campgrounds and picnic areas have drinking water turned on, but that they turn it off after those months. I'm not seeing anything that says like specific weather windows.
Yeah, there also just wasn't a whole ton of information online. There was like there were like Facebook groups about it, and so that was nice, but not a whole lot of takes on people who have actually thru-hiked it when I did it. I did it in 2019.
Got it.
So there's probably been a lot more now.
You go through Custer State Park. There's shit tons of bison in Custer.
Yes, we saw a huge herd of them right where we were supposed to walk through the trail, and we had to take quite a few miles way around all of them to avoid them.
Yeah, I remember we had driven through Custer when we were like living out of the truck, and I remember there's a ton of bison. I had looked them up because they do like auctions, like they'll sell some of the herd in Custer at certain times to try to, basically they have to keep the herd a certain size so that the herd will make it through winter because food is so limited. So there's usually like an auction they'll do where like other groups or whatever will buy bison, and then they'll make the number right again, and then they'll go through winter, and then the bison do their bison thing and grow. But I don't remember any of the details because time.
Yeah, time's tough. Should we do the sponsor question?
Yeah.
Thank you to today's title sponsor, Topo Athletic. This is the peak performance question presented by Topo Athletic. Use code TREKFALL15 at topoathletic.com for 15% off your order. What shoes do you use, out of curiosity?
I use Brooks Cascadias.
We'll blank that out. I'm joking. What is your top performance enhancing or backpacking hack? Something not conventional that you feel like keeps you churning on trail.
Okay. I don't know if it's not conventional, but I've been judged by some of my trail family members for doing this. I use whatever like liquid electrolytes. I'll get the ones with caffeine in it, and if I'm like really dragging, I'll like get some water in my mouth, just squirt it straight in and drink it that way.
Like
instead,
like
if I don't want to like mix my entire water bottle with electrolytes, I'll do it that way, and maybe it's just placebo effect. Maybe it works faster. Maybe it doesn't, but it feels like it does.
Does that lead to any good poop stories? Because I feel like that concentrate of caffeine would...
I think the whole hiking diet does.
Yeah, sure. You ever shit your pants?
No, I haven't, but I've had many close calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've dug a lot of cat holes after pooping.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shit first, dig second.
Yes.
I think we've all been there before. Well, Slider, this has been a ton of fun. Let people know where they should go to keep up with you.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram mostly. I have a TikTok, but I don't do videos very often. There are some. Anywhere you can find me, Trombone and Hike.
Cool. Are you going to be bringing the trombone on future backpacking trips?
I think the time for that has passed for me.
Okay, you're retiring it.
I think so.
Yeah.
At least for the trail.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
To the Trek propaganda portion of today's show. You're going to have to be ready to contribute to this in a second. I'll show you why. The first piece is 6 pieces of thru-hiking advice I'd wish I'd never given by, of course, Katie Jackson. I'm going to highlight a couple, and then we'll have to impromptu give a couple of our own.
Sure.
The first, you're going to have to go to the article to get all 6 of them. But the first piece of advice that so the premise of this one is advice that she's given to people and then she's changed her mind on.
This would be a great Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Rachel, mental note.
Yeah. The first piece of advice is you don't need to train before a hike.
Mm-hmm.
She has told that to someone and has since changed her mind on that. And the second one is don't overpack on your first trip. Let people figure out what they do, need, or want on their own. I think those are both. I probably have both. I've definitely given that first piece of advice. I'm sure I've given some version of that second piece of advice, and I think the revision is probably the right call. Katie's smart. Curious to know what advice you've given to people.
It's hard because to wish you'd never given it. Maybe you need feedback from someone that it didn't go well.
Yeah.
And all my advice is just received really well.
Obviously.
Clearly. But no, I try not to give people advice. Like, I don't want to be on the hook for anyone doing something my way and not liking it. Like, advice that cold soaking sucks, I stand by.
Sure.
It does suck.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe you'll like it, but chances are you won't.
Yep.
You don't need to train for your first hike, but, like, what kind of hike do you want to have? If you're trying to make friends, then maybe you do want to train before it. Because you could absolutely use the first few weeks as training.
That was the one that jumped out to me.
Are you trying to have friends?
I mean, never, but in Appalachian Trials, I kind of, like, emphasize that you don't need to train for a hike, which is technically true. You definitely don't.
No, the first few weeks could be training.
Yeah. However, I think if it's your first long-distance backpacking trip, if you can eliminate the source of stress that is all the physical discomfort that comes from just being thrust into backpacking all day, if you can at least hit the ground running even a little bit, like, you don't have to be necessarily in through-hiking shape, but, like, don't go from being a couch potato to then trying to do 12-mile days on the AT. Like, that could really kick your ass.
Yeah.
I wrote that book when I was, I think, 26, 7. So I was coming from the frame of mind of someone, like, a guy in his mid-20s. Like, I think I'm doing less. I was in much better shape in my mid-20s than I am today. Like, I have to work harder to get to that same level of fitness. And, you know, people that are post-retiree, like, I think they have to train even harder than, you know, somebody young can just hit the ground running in their own way.
Yeah, I come from the privilege of having done both. I use the PCT as I'll train when I get there, and I went through bulking season. And for the AT, I did not want to repeat that, so I trained extra hard going into it. And man, what a difference does it make.
Yeah.
Like, both are possible. You could complete a trail both ways. You don't need to train before a hike, but what kind of hike do you want to have? Like, when you think about people who take off in a run or a race or, you know, anything like that, you know, you don't sprint out the gate. You don't need to, like, leave it all out right at the beginning. But, you know, if you start a race and everyone is just, like, off ahead of you and you haven't seen anyone in front of you in ages, and, you know, like, that doesn't feel really good in terms of my ability to complete this race either.
And people then feel the pressure to push themselves beyond their limits to keep up with people, and then injuries pop up, and, like, that can take you off the trail out the jump. I
think it's what you want to spend your time thinking about is how to decide the answer to that. Because if you don't have the time to train before a hike and it's like, well, this is what I've got to do, that's fine. You don't need to train before it, but you're going to spend most of the time during those first few weeks thinking about the miles and thinking about the pain and thinking about how you're getting a little bit knocked into shape versus starting a trail and feeling great. Man, like, getting to the top of the approach trail stairs and not even realizing it was the top because I just was, like, so happy to be there, and, like, not being the one that people were waiting on and being the person waiting on someone, like, felt so powerful.
Yeah.
And so good. And I just remember, like, feeling strong during the beginning part of it. And I think it definitely, like, set the tone for my hike of, man, I feel good. Like, this feels good. This feels right. Versus, like, the start of the PCT is just, like, can I keep up with these people? Am I going to lose my friends? I've never done this before. Like, I don't want to hike by myself. I, like, don't know if I have it in me to keep up with these other people's paces. And on the AT, I didn't necessarily need to worry about that because I knew I could keep up if I wanted to. And, like, my choice to stay with or not stay with people wasn't dictated by my pace. It was dictated by how much of a connection I felt.
Yeah.
But it would really suck to be new to a trail and not used to hiking it and not used to hiking in general, and meet someone cool that you'd like to hike with, and like you physically just like your body's not there, and to have, I can imagine those moments come and go as different people come and pass. Like, why do you want to mentally abuse yourself in the first legs of what's going to be a very long and trying thing?
Yeah. And like if you're very new to backpacking and you're not familiar with setting up your tent even when you get to camp, like it's just so much easier to deal with those small stresses when you don't feel like a bag of dicks. Like if you can get to camp and feel like a normal person, then the stress of everything associated with camp is just so much easier. And I think the big thing is just reducing injury risk early on. But you don't have to train, but it definitely will only benefit you.
I have some advice that I would give again.
Sure.
Pack out if you soda's your thing, or if beer's your thing, whatever your guilty little treat is, pack it out for your big climb day of your resupply stretch. Every resupply stretch you have, you're going to look at your map from here to the next town as you plan your food, and you're going to see one part of it that you just say, fuck. And that part, for me, it was a can of soda. I would put it in my pack. I'd keep it in the middle. If it was the night before when I was going to have it, put it in the stream and get it all cold and ready. I'd baby the fuck out of this thing. And when I'd sit at the top of that climb, like the whole way up, it would just be, and the one I'm thinking about in particular is the climb out of Sawyer Valley. I had an orange soda in my pack, and it was like, man, the second I get to the top of this climb, I'm going to taste it. It's going to be in my mouth. It's going to be freaking fantastic. And like sometimes you just need to bait yourself with some snacks, and that I will always give that advice. It's heavy. It's not convenient. Maybe I did it once on the Colorado Trail with a Red Bull and sat down on a rock that looked like a nice sitting rock and leaned back, and a rock punctured it and it exploded and it went all over everything, and everything was sticky, and like maybe that wasn't the best, but I would still give that advice.
Yeah. A midday caffeine pick-me-up is pretty nice.
Dude, especially when it's like a forced shotgun.
Yeah. Sure.
Like I wasn't planning on it, but now I'm on the side of the trail shotgunning this Red Bull so that it stops leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
That'll get you going.
Yeah. I like packing out beer. Although I'm now at the age where like I can't have an afternoon beer because then I just feel like sluggish and shit.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of caffeine, basically.
Yeah.
The other thing that it's not necessarily advice that I regret, but advice that's tricky to give is really anything gear related. Is like It's so personal, and like because I do some of these coaching calls, like part of that is giving gear suggestions, and I try to like explain like you'll like piece A if you tend to be this sort of person, or you'll like piece, like I try to give options and like have them figure out for themselves, because you can't just say like get a freestanding tent and it'll be easier to set up, or get a trekking pole tent because it's lighter. Like you have to kind of know who you are. So
I'll agree with you on that. There's not a specific piece of advice I could think of, but I would like to not give advice when it comes to things with variables that I can't know, like temperature. Like what should my base layer be? Like that depends.
Yeah. How
do you sleep? You know, like are you hot? Do you run cold? How cold? Like are you okay being uncomfortable? There's so many things that a person's specific traits play into it where it makes it very hard for someone else to suggest.
Yeah, 100%. I like that.
Yeah.
Question of the day. I gather this was a heated one on the internet because I saw Elise weighed in. I think I learned about this through.
Did you miss this?
Yeah, big time.
Oh yeah, this was like a big fad for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really bothered men.
Question of the day. Would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear?
Yes. So this took the internet by storm.
Yeah.
Mainly just like women saying bear and men being angry about that, being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We're totally fine. Why are you scared of us? And like not understanding. I think the question is clickbait on its own because like there's different answers based on different circumstances. So I'll go through different circumstances and the answer in each. Most times I'm choosing bear. But it depends. Like, am I choosing seeing a bear in Shenandoah off the side of the trail versus seeing a hiker that's obviously a hiker coming south? I take the bear because that's cooler. Like, yeah, I'd rather see a bear.
Yeah.
Right? Like, duh. Am I taking, I'm in the middle of nowhere and I'm camping by myself and the sun's going down and another hiker that's obviously a hiker comes into camp and wants to set up camp versus a grizzly bear coming into camp? I'll take the other hiker. Thank you. Am I taking that same scenario where a bear could come through camp and I'm in the middle of nowhere and there's no roads nearby versus a dude in jeans who does not look like a hiker, who just stumbles in and is just like, we both have that moment where we're like looking at each other like, why are you here?
Yeah.
I'll take the bear.
Let's say you've got 10,000 different bears and 10,000 different guys, and you're setting up camp, and you don't know what you're going to get. You have to pick one.
Is it? But it very much does depend.
There's no other people around.
The bear always belongs in the outdoors. The
Sure.
bear always belongs there. But is this a person that looks like they're recreating outside, or is this a person that looks like they're from the city that got just plucked and planted in the outside?
So that's what I'm saying is like there's 10,000 of each, and it's just going to like randomly spin a wheel and pluck one of each. Just, I guess, taking like the median choice. Which one do you pick?
I think the way that this question's intended to be asked takes out it's a hiker hiking southbound. I think the point of this question isn't you see a guy in his natural environment going south, right? Like that's not the point of the question.
Yeah.
The point is, would you rather be surprised by a random bear that you didn't expect to see there, or a random man that you didn't expect to see there?
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably take the bear. They're more predictable.
Yeah.
You know what to do in the situation. You don't have to factor for human nature. If you see a person out in the middle of the woods and I know I'm 0.2 from a road and the sun's setting and they're in jeans and they don't have a backpack on, I'm wondering why they're there. Now they know I sleep there.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of information and I'm in a vulnerable position and there's a lot of free will that they could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take the bear.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just fucking free. It's freaky when you see someone outside that's not, like, in that setting. Like, when we were in Shenandoah and there was a dude with jeans walking around the shelter at night that came from not the trail, like, came from the middle of the woods behind the shelter, swinging a hatchet.
Yep.
What the fuck are you doing there?
Yeah.
Walks into a direction that isn't also the trail, isn't the shelter, isn't the water source. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't sleep a lick that night because I'm fucking unsettled. Whereas if a bear walked through there, I'm like, oh, there's a bear doing its bear thing, living its bear life. But the idea of, like, someone without backpacking gear in jeans so far, like, not in the environment you'd expect them in, that brings them in with a level of sus where, like, a bear isn't sus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the alone is the operative word for me, because if I'm alone, I would also take the bear.
Right.
If there's other people around, I'd rather take the man. Again, if I'm envisioning this just being at
if
camp.
it's me and, like, an entire shelter's worth of bubble hikers and, like,
Yeah.
a random guy comes into camp, who cares?
Yeah.
But at the same, but then it switches from, is this a scary situation to, is this a cool sighting? And I
Whoop.
sorry,
Spill
my beer. Yeah, I don't know. I think men love to get angry at this question because they don't want to be seen as, like, a threat, and they don't want to be just, like, blanketly labeled as a threat, especially if they're, like, a nice person. So I could see why that would get people bothered.
Yeah, but what about the bears? The bears are offended by it too.
Right, exactly. That's what no one asks. They never say, well, what do the bears feel like
Yeah.
in these situations? No one thinks of them.
Yeah, most of the bears are just minding their own business.
If you're a man and you're upset by this question, the way it's answered, just think, hey, did anyone ask the bear?
True.
But yeah, that was big on the internet.
Yeah. I wonder what sort of commentary we'll get on that one.
Probably a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, like, I've had times on the trail where I'm walking and, like, there is a random man on trail and he's asking people if they know where Chaunce is because he's heard that she's hiking near them. And I'm standing there like, geez, if you knew what I looked like you would know that you're literally looking at me. But
Bank.
Like, a bear is not going out to the woods looking for me. A bear just happens to see me.
I mean, there probably are some bears that might be looking for you.
I'll look for them back. Like,
Yeah.
hey bear.
Good. Triple crown of freezer foods.
Yes.
I'll start.
And I don't mean this in a way of, like, mozzarella sticks because you can get them in a freezer at a restaurant. I'm talking, like, food in your freezer.
Oh, I was thinking the freezer section of a grocery store. I mean, the same thing.
Okay. Well, good thing that we're okay.
We're giving the definition.
Okay, freezer section of a grocery store. I could do that.
I'm going to start. I feel like I've said this to at least you. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but my go-to freezer aisle purchase, DiGiorno stuffed crust pizza.
Absolutely amazing.
The stuffed crust is so... I don't know why we're not stuffing crust more as a society.
Garrett doesn't like stuffed crust.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He will always get like a regular crust for my stuffed crust.
It's funny because the DiGiorno pizza portion is actually way shittier than the normal DiGiorno.
Yeah.
The stuffed crust, I don't know why they don't just give you the normal DiGiorno pizza with a stuffed crust, but the stuffed crust is so good that the whole thing is better than the regular DiGiorno.
Right. Do you want to like 70% of your pizza or 100% of your pizza?
And why is it only DiGiorno that's stuffing the crust, baby?
Did you see freaking Domino's came out with a thing where I think they're just trying to gaslight everyone. They were they were introducing stuffed crust, and everyone was like, "You had stuffed crust."
I think that was Pizza Hut.
No, it was because we used to order Domino's like every Friday growing up, and I remember stuffed crust was like, "Oh my God, stuffed crust is a thing now." And Domino's has been as of this year, been trying to tell people that they're introducing stuffed crust. And they're just acting like they never had it.
Apparently, Googling who stuffed the crust first is not going to get me to the correct answer. Stuffed crust pizza is pizza with cheese, typically mozzarella, or other ingredients added to the outer edge of the pizza. The stuffed crust pizza was popularized by Pizza Hut, which debuted the style of pizza in 1995.
I know Pizza Hut had it. I'm just saying Domino's is the one I'm feeling contentious with.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because when we weren't a Pizza Hut family.
When did
Pizza Hut didn't deliver?
Domino's start stuffing that crust?
It's going to lie to you. It's going to say 2025.
Domino's launched its first official stuffed crust pizza in the United States on March 3rd, 2025.
Liars. Liars.
You're going to need to dig up some...
Liars. I don't believe
evidence.
that. Like, what? All these memories in my head are fake? Who planted them
Pizza
there?
Hut delivers.
No, No.
It did in my town.
Not in my town.
Oh.
We would go to Martio's if we were going somewhere, or Posa Posa. If you know, you know. Those are great. Otherwise, you ordered Domino's.
This says Domino's historically avoided stuffed crust, believing it would create operational issues and slow down service.
Fake news. This is Domino's trying to make everyone forget that they did it. And this is a conspiracy I will die on the hill for. Domino's did stuffed crust. I get so mad when I see that.
I had the Domino's stuffed crust before it came out. What is this about? I'm sure nobody cares, but my friend knew a guy who works at Domino's who got it not only for free but early. I just thought it was cool to share this. This one says not in America.
I just refuse to be wrong here.
Yeah, apparently.
Like they can tell me they can put it in whatever the most legitimate ink is, and I still don't believe them.
That is a key Chaunce characteristic.
Yeah.
Stubborn to deny all information that doesn't conform to your belief.
Yep.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay, you're next.
Okay. If we're going by the freezer section.
I mean, you could go with foods in your freezer. I feel like that's the same thing,
I got
right?
more options than the freezer section of the grocery store.
Sure.
Okay. Low-hanging fruit or super specific? Which do I go for first? I'll go super specific.
You have to pick like a specific item. You can't just be like French fries.
Okay. What is the brand? They're like fudge chocolate ice cream bars.
Fudgesicles?
No, they're not. No, that's too popsicle. I'm talking more ice cream in texture than popsicle in texture. More cream, less ice. I think it's maybe Yasso is like a brand. I don't care about the super, super healthy ones.
Like there's fudge pop?
Nope, that's still too popsicle. Fudge ice cream.
Any of these guys?
Bars. We're getting closer. Let me look. Image. There's one that's like a low-cal, lightweight, like whatever healthy option, which is not why I buy things, but they are delicious. Here we go. Breyer's Carb Smart. Breyer's Carb Smart fudge bars. Those things are phenomenal. It's like chocolate ice cream on a stick.
Yeah.
Perfect amount. Super tasty. This is going to be my choice for the ice cream category. Hard to narrow it down, but that's a good one.
Yeah. It's amazing how much behavior I can direct with my kids with popsicles. Like a nice 25-calorie popsicle can get them to clean up a space, can get them to get off the road. Like basically, anytime I want to shift behavior, I'm always just a popsicle offer away.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. And I mean, any of the ice cream popsicle bar selections would fit my category.
Yeah.
Because those drumsticks
are great.
are really good. I always have to knock the nuts off the top, though. Hate those.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like the worst part of it.
I like the chocolate cone at the bottom.
Yeah. That last little bit where it's just chocolate.
Yeah.
I can't decide if I like the fudge center or the caramel center better. Both are amazing, but that last bite is just...
we shouldn't start rallying stuff until we
this
get
is
to
all
the
the
ends.
ice cream bar category, though.
Yeah. I don't want to, because potentially there's a list. Like I was going to say the ice cream or the Snickers ice cream bars. Those are money.
I think I'm taking ice cream bars as my category.
You got to go specific here.
If I chose a different brand of stuffed crust pizza, that would be like the lamest follow-up pick.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do that because that would be lame. But there's enough diversity within the ice cream bar world.
Okay. Fine, don't give me
I mean,
ice
it's not
cream
on my
bars.
list, but the Snickers ice cream bars are fucking great.
So are the strawberry shortcake good humor bars. Hey, Yasso does make a chocolate fudge pop, too. It's not as good, but...
You have one more?
I do have one more. My next one is going to be any of those meals that you can reheat, quote unquote, from a restaurant, where it's like...
Doesn't like Bennigan's has got like a peel the plastic off and...
Or you can do like a P.F. Chang's, like... sesame chicken, or you could do like a Red Lobster, like something like they have like pre-made meals.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I'd be wary of the Red Lobster.
Yeah, I'm just saying
meal.
words, but well, some of them are put in the oven and bake.
Okay.
But some of them, like
no one got time.
If
for
you
that.
look at the restaurant specific ones, there's some interesting ones, and sometimes they're tasty. So I'll go restaurant specific take home meals.
Okay. Kind of a broad genre there, but we'll allow it. I'm going to go specific again here because I have to take something from the ice cream genre given my sweet tooth.
I'm surprised you didn't take it first.
I couldn't leave DiGiorno off the list.
Yeah.
I was worried that
I
I was going to get
taken
snagged. I'm going to go Ben & Jerry's tonight, though.
Ooh, okay.
All of Ben & Jerry's is great. I have not yet had a flavor that I don't like, although the Cherry Garcia is not my palate, but... Yeah, the Ben & Jerry's tonight, though. I don't even know what is all in there. Ben & Jerry's tonight, though. We probably have done a Triple Crown of just Ben & Jerry's.
No, we actually haven't.
No?
We can.
Tonight, though, is caramel and chocolate ice cream with chocolate cookie swirls and gobs of chocolate chip cookie dough and peanut butter cookie dough. It's fucking so good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There's no arguing that.
Yeah, no, Fallon really knocked it out of the park. I'm sure he had no say in that. They're like, hey, we'll give you $10 million to put your face on an ice cream. He's like, great.
Sure.
But yeah, tonight, though, is money for sure. Last pick. This is going to be tough, Chaunce.
Yeah, choose wisely.
I'm going to go with a nostalgia play on this one. This is not something I get too much nowadays. It's been a very long time since I've gotten this. Maybe we got this at PCT Trail Days last year. Am I tipping my hand? Tostino's pizza rolls.
Ooh, okay. Over pizza bagel bites?
Bagel bites are also very good.
Because the only qualm with the pizza rolls is they retain the hot air in them. So
you're
when you
gonna
bite
burn the
them, you
fuck out
burn
of
the
your mouth.
shit out of yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas pizza bagel
that's part
bites,
of the fun, though. Yeah, I don't want to walk away with still having feeling on my tongue.
Or your upper lid of your mouth.
Yeah, that's like you come home from the bars at 2 and you fire those up real quickly, and then you just absolutely incinerate your mouth.
Yeah,
and they squirt the hot tomato sauce directly into the back. Yeah, it's a whole the whole experience. Great. But they're so yummy.
I'm now having regret about my second choice because I'm thinking of two other things I really like. So maybe I'll just have honorable mentions. My third one, which I feel very strongly about, is taquitos.
Okay, taquitos.
I was introduced to those via Garrett and never had them in my life before dating him. Shocked that they're such a cute little small snack-sized treat that gets hot and cozy and feels like a pizza roll, but not pizza. like a little Mexican pizza roll.
Definitely crispier. But you have to dip them. Like, you
Yeah,
can't you can't raw dog.
Well, that goes back to if you're like a wet or a dry food person.
Yeah,
Dry food people don't dip them.
Like a pizza roll, I don't have to dip.
No.
I could see ranch coming into play and making a good time, but
I've actually never considered ranch with pizza rolls.
can't be bad, right? I don't know.
No, it makes sense,
Yeah.
but my brain just never thought about it.
Yeah.
As someone who puts ranch with all of her pizza slices.
So the question is, what do you dip in the taquito?
Salsa.
Salsa, I was gonna say.
If there's a red salsa, if there's a green salsa, like any salsa that I can find. And I also won't make them if I don't have something to dip.
Yeah. I'm a guacamole guy, but salsa is also sour cream. You can't go wrong with any
And
of them.
it just it needs something.
Yeah, it is.
It needs a liquid.
That's a tough one to
But
raw
we're
dog.
wet food people.
Yeah, we are.
Honorable mention, hash browns.
Hash browns are
Tater
great.
tots, hash browns.
If in the potato genre, tots all day.
Tots.
Every day of the week.
I've been making breakfast burritos in like mega batches and freezing a bunch. And then we
Nice.
take one out at night and like eat it the next day.
Yeah.
And this time, the first 2 batches I did hash brown patties. And so I'd bake them
Ooh,
and then
that's
I'd
good.
like crisp them up and then I'd mush them in. This time I did shredded potatoes.
Mm.
I personally think the hash brown patties were better. Garrett likes this round better in general. I think there's more meat in it. But my next one I'm going to try is tater tots instead of either.
Can't be bad. The only kind of potato I don't like in a breakfast burrito is the home style fries. It's like too potato-y. Yeah. I need it to be more fried.
I think it needs to just have that crisp. Like when I'm
Totally.
taking a bite out of the burrito, it's like biting celery in a soup.
Yeah.
You know, like it's something that reminds you that there's texture there.
Yeah, there's meaning in life.
Right.
Have you had Publito's burritos?
No, you're pointing as if I know them.
It is that way, and it's a food truck. There's actually a few of them. I think there might be one.
We love Bonfire burritos.
Bonfire is good. I now go back and forth between these
Really?
two spots. Yeah.
You who are so strong in your ways.
I still have a big fondness for Bonfire in my heart, especially the one down in Arvada, like near Old Town, has an awesome outdoor play area for the kids. More restaurants and breweries especially need to have areas for kids because like there's not enough of that around
I
here.
think it's because they don't want your kids there.
That probably is true.
When I go to a brewery, I don't want to hear your kids.
But if you're in the business of making a shit ton of money, there's a lot of parents that want to enjoy a beer and also have their kids run around. Like I know that would be a scenario where you don't get people in their 20s going to it because.
But you would want to have a beer because you're a parent versus
No.
me as not a parent.
Jen and I will rock paper scissors to see who's driving home, and one of us gets to launch off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a brewery when I went to Arkansas. I think it was in Fayetteville, where they had like stairs going upstairs, and underneath the stairs was like a chain link fence with a door, and there was like kid play shit inside. And I just
Whatever works.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, whatever works.
Here, lock your kids in the chain link fence under the stairs. Have a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just kids screaming and beer. I don't know. I feel like I would go there to get away from them, and I'll probably change my mind on that when I have kids, and I feel like suddenly the world's against me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but like we try to take them to new terrain, and there's just nothing to occupy them, so we're just chasing them around the entire time.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Yeah. But Publito's burritos is they have crispy, like stringy potato action in there. It's really good.
Here's a patent pending. You know how a lot of these breweries will like not do food too, but they'll have the food truck come park outside?
Yeah.
Here's a business venture. I want 1%. Food truck, but it doesn't have food. It's more of like a pop-out camper.
A mobile play area for
Mobile
kids.
play area.
Yeah.
So I can park my mobile play area outside of your brewery. You could bring your kids, and maybe there's a sitter on site, and you can leave them in my vehicle while you go drink.
The windowless van.
Don't worry, they'll have fun.
Yeah, the candy shack.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that got to get ironed out, but like a mobile jungle gym.
Yeah. Has McDonald's gotten rid of the play areas? I remember those used to be on like every other McDonald's, and I don't feel like I see them at all anymore.
I see them here and there.
I bet they
But-
got rid of it as a liability risk
I think so.
because there was one in my hometown, Woodstock, and we were there at high school, and one of the kids climbed up the outside of it, like you know how they have the netting around. He climbed up it, got to the top, and did a backflip onto the table and demolished the table like Bill style.
Yeah.
So I could see why they don't want to encourage that, but you know what, my twins would do the exact same thing.
Yeah. What's the most recent piece of furniture they've broken?
They're not big enough to break anything yet. Mostly they just try to break themselves. But their favorite thing is we've got metal tables out on our deck outside, and it's like old, and I think I talked about this recently, and it just makes a lot of noise because it's uneven. It's like rattling a cage. So they just go up there and jump on it to make as much noise as possible. I've pulled them off that table, and I'm not exaggerating, 100 times. And most of the time they just go right back up. They think the game of me pulling them off and them climbing back on is like the best
most fun part.
Yeah. A couple more honorable mentions. Can't believe we left Trader Joe's off the...
No, because Trader Joe's freezer section is different.
No,
that's entirely different. No, I could do an entire Triple Crown for that, because you can't get chocolate covered banana slices in regular, like the little monkey ones.
Freezer section's the freezer section, baby.
Oh no, because then I would take the spanakopita. I would take
spanakopita was my
that
first
was
pick.
So good.
Gnocchi.
Yep.
Fucking.
Yep.
Have you had the ice cream sandwiches where the layers of sandwich are a cookie with like chocolate chips around the outer edge of it?
Like in life, or specifically Trader Joe's?
The Trader Joe's one.
No.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I had to stop buying them because it'd be like, am I going to have 2 of these tonight?
Well, but they also have like, here's a bag of green beans with all the different like seasonings and everything in it. Just toss it in the pan. Or here's a mushroom risotto. Just toss it. Like there's just too many good things to just mix it with a Safeway's selection.
Trader Joe's is the ultimate grocery store where you could just go in blindfolded and grab 12 things and everything's going to be good, except for the produce. Sometimes the produce.
Yeah, they don't have fresh fish.
Yeah. True. But even their frozen fish is bad. But yeah, Trader Joe's is the best.
Yeah, my only negative Trader Joe's memory was I went in like really wanting to make a certain salmon dish, and like even their not fresh salmon was like lox.
Yeah.
It's like I can't use this for dinner.
Here's a fun thing that I can't even say in the podcast, but I had a situation happen to me in a Trader Joe's that I'll have to tell you off air.
Oh, come on.
No, like legitimately I can't. I can't. Signed a thing.
No way.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, find me at a hiker meetup and maybe I'll mention it.
Shut up. Wait, you have to tell me after this.
Yeah. Good. I very much want people's commentary on this one, so I hope we post this on social media. I want to do a quick 1-minute gear review because I got this question recently and I cycle through a lot of them. So someone asked me recently what rain jacket I'm using. The one that I've been using over the last year, I asked them for me to test this before trail days. You remember before we left for trail days, the forecast was like 4 straight days of rain.
Yeah.
And it ended up being amazing.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to test it at trail days, but I've tested it a good amount since, including on Tour de Mont Blanc. It's the Montbell Super Dry Peak Shell Jackets.
I breathed wrong.
Yeah, don't breathe wrong. Breathe right.
So say it again. I coughed right over the name.
It's Montbell. I love Montbell stuff.
I love Montbell.
The Super Dry Tech Peak Shell Jacket. And from what I have seen, I think it's the lightest 3-layer jacket out there. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. But 7 ounces, I think, for the medium. Maybe that's the large. I haven't used it in an all-out downpour yet. I've noticed that if I'm not doing like a long through hike, I tend to not go outside in those environments. But in every circumstance that I've used it, including this past weekend, I was up in the mountains. It rained for like 2 straight hours, more misty. It's performed fucking awesome. The one thing I will highlight here is that the website doesn't mention anything about PFAS, which I feel like nowadays
no
means...
news is yes?
Yeah, no news is bad news. But yeah, in my premature testing with this thing, it's the lightest 3-layer jacket out there, and it's worked like a champ. So I'll use it more, but yeah.
Montbell's rain pants are my go-to rain pants. So I can imagine that the raincoat is probably equally as nice. That's the first thing I would rebuy if I was to do a trail that has wet and I were to need to rebuy something.
Yeah.
First thing I would rebuy is that.
Do you have the zip-off ones?
I have none. I don't know where I put them.
Oh.
So I can't find them, which is the only reason I would need to rebuy them.
Yeah. Montbell stuff is really good.
Yeah.
I have both the zip-off rain pants, which I like because I'm often in like a thru-hiking context wearing rain pants in town like a lot of thru-hikers do, and having the zip-off option is nice because when it's the summer and it's 95 degrees outside, walking around in full rain pants is a torture test.
Yeah.
Going down to the shorts is really nice. I also have the wind pants, which are like you have to baby. If they snag on anything, they're probably gonna rip, but it does an amazing job of trapping heat, and like if you're not gonna be in a cold downpour, they work perfectly. But yeah, Montbell is very good.
Mailbag. Before I lodge my complaint, please know that I love the BPR podcast and I'm so thankful that I discovered you all. That said, who dropped the ball? I just finished listening to the episode featuring Liz Kidder. For a show that has so frequently delved into matters of the heart, and given that Chaunce was off getting married, I am wondering how no one brought up that Liz and Luke got married on top of Katahdin when she finished her AT hike. I'm fairly certain that I once heard Mr. Badger Davis state on an earlier episode, "We love love."
I believe that's a Chaunce
I
quote.
can't believe you got attributed with that one. I guess it will have to wait for her second visit to the show. Love you guys, love your content, love your community, love the show. Keep up the good work, Jeff.
See, if I were you there, I would have taken credit for the quote.
No, see, I think that this was strategic. We didn't want to put too much good in one episode.
Totally.
And we needed a reason to have her back.
Yeah, we got to have a good dose of bad.
And maybe we have her back with Luke for Valentine's Day.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
We'll have to figure out her schedule and
Yeah.
like what year it coincides with. But yeah, I just didn't know.
Do you know that her and Jabba hiked to the terminus together?
I do.
Yeah.
That I did know, but I did not know that she got married on Katahdin.
Yeah.
She hiked the year before I hiked, and I was very much in the mindset of I don't want to know anything about the AT because I'm already like so convinced it's going to be lackluster that I'm going to go in with no research. Like I didn't know I was doing McAfee Knob until the night before. I was trying to figure out why everyone wanted to wake up at sunrise.
Yeah.
So I specifically did not follow 2018 hikers, and I'm pretty sure that was the year she did it. Because I posted a handstand photo one place and just got fucking ripped.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to be handstand, you know. But I can't believe we didn't know that. I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't know that. I wish I would have asked her about it. I'm sorry, Jeff. If we have her back on, I will ask about it. I didn't know.
Should we do the lowbrow thing and throw Rachel under the bus?
No.
Because if we go back in the show notes, I'm sure she highlighted it.
Yeah, so then we can't, how we throw Rachel under the bus?
Well, the people listening don't know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was all Rachel's fault. No, Rachel's too good.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Rachel's the best.
Sorry.
5-star review. We actually don't have a new one.
Yeah.
So this is on you guys.
Yeah.
Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, because this is an important segment to the show.
Yes. And you can write anything you want. You could take your mailbag and put it in a 5-star review, and we'll read it too.
Yeah.
It just has to be 5 stars. We're not going to, like, if you want to hate on us, you have to do it with 5 stars, because just hating on us with less is actually just hating on us, and then that kind of gets mean.
Well, also, we don't get to project it out to the world.
Right.
Because we're not going to read it on the podcast.
Right.
We'll do anything for 5 stars.
I mean, I'm not going to read it at all, because I'm going to vet my little blinders and pretend that it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I'm going to put a call out for people to give us their trail confessions in a 5-star review.
Ooh. Make an anonymous name.
Yeah.
Make a trail confession. Fun. I wonder how you choose your name that you review with. Like, I wonder if it's something that, like, you preset it a while back.
It's got, like, your avatar and your home address and everything.
I don't know.
Maybe that won't work.
I don't think it has an avatar, because we get a lot of funny, like, names. But I would love a trail confession.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, like, douchily, aggressively violating LNT in a way where you think it's funny and everyone else thinks it's cringe.
Yeah.
I mean, we would still read it if it's with 5 stars. We would probably just then, like, tell you it's a bit cringe.
Yeah. Educate people.
Yeah. But yes, leave us a 5-star review. Tell us anything you'd like, and we read what's on the teleprompter.
Yeah. And screenshot the review, email us, podcast@thetrek.co. We'll send you a sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to today's title sponsor, Topo Athletic. Their trail runners are the best. I use the Pursuit 2s for the full lap around Tour de Mont Blanc. I didn't fall a single time, which is, for me, like science fiction, because on the long trail, I fell 450 times. Like, it was like multiple times per day. My feet felt like a champ the entire time, and I went into that hike probably with a couple 100 miles or more on those shoes already, so it wasn't a fresh pair, and they're still kicking. I still wear them on hikes. They're great. Fucking love the Topos. We often have guests on the show who say that they're getting a lot of miles, like well over 500 miles out of a single pair.
Mm-hmm.
They're just made really well.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about shoes, too, is that, nice or not, right? Like, we do have to replace them after so much time, especially with the trails that we do. And it's a nice chance to try a new piece of gear. So if you're someone that has historically done really well in a pair of Ultras, that's what I came to the Topos from. It was a very easy transition for me. If you don't like it, you can always switch back, right?
Yeah.
Like, worst case, you find something better. Best case, you can, no. a case, you find something better. Another case, you realize that you like what you had. But you get to try something new. And I've done that with different pairs of shoes, and I have quickly found that some pairs of shoes like are very much not for me. But it's nice to now know, because now when I see someone else using them, I'm like, oh, now I know that like that didn't work for me. Shoes is another thing where it's like really hard to give someone a specific recommendation, but Topo's does have a slew of different types of shoes for different types of feet and different types of terrain. I use the Pursuit 2s, but if those don't work for you, I would just say check out their website. And if you're in the market for a new pair of shoe, why not try these and, see what happens.
Yeah. If you know that you do well in trail runners with a low drop and you like the wide toe box, I am very, very confident you're going to love the Topos. They're great.
Yeah.
And you get a 15% discount with our code TrekFall15. So don't wait on that, because it's going to be a different code. Maybe it'll be no code. So
yeah, notice the code changes with the seasons.
Yeah. Super big thank you to our Chuck Norris Award winners on Patreon. That is Alex and Misty with Navigators Crafting, Alex Kindle, Andrew, Austin McDaniel, Bill Jensen, Brian Blair from 13 Adventures, Brian Alsop,
Fables,
Carl Hood, Christopher Marshburn, Clint Sittler, Coach from Marion Outdoors, Eric Casper, Eric Hoffman. Sorry, I spoke over you there.
That's okay.
Ethan Harwell Dunn, Jillian Daniels, Greg Knight, Greg Martin, Griffin Hay, would you bring me a beer? Haley Buckingham.
Dallas.
Oh, we got a couple new ones here. Let's go. Jason Kaiser.
Oh, no, say it a different way. You think it's Kaiser?
What, you think it's Kisser?
I was going to say barely know her.
I'm worried he'll be offended if we do the wrong pronunciation. I'm almost positive that's Kaiser.
Wouldn't it have a Z? Kisser.
I'm thinking like Paul Reiser.
Oh.
You know Paul Reiser. Probably not. Oh, I spelled it wrong.
I'm still going to say barely know her.
Yeah. Paul Kisser.
Barely know her?
Kristen Bell.
We'll work on that one. Wait, the celebrity? We talked about this.
We did talk about this. I'm positive that it is the celebrity, even though
she's trying to be incognito.
Yeah, she just spelled her name differently.
Yeah.
So very clever.
Clever, Kristen.
Yeah, you're not getting away from us,
though.
Matt from Gilbert, Arizona, Patrick C. in Cialo, Rebecca Braveheart, Rural Juror, Sawyer Product Spam, the St. Louis Shaman, Timothy Hahn,
Solo,
and Tracy Sugar.
Tons.
Good one. Thanks to our guy, Polly. Thanks to our guy Paulie at Old Man Murph's Coffee Roasters. Go to ommcr.com. Get yourself some delicious beans. You can follow us on social at Backpacker Radio on Instagram and TikTok, at Backpacker Pod on X, Facebook.com/Backpacker Radio. You can follow Chaunce.
You can find me on Instagram at Juliana_Chauncey and on YouTube at Juliana Chauncey. And you can get my book, Hiking from Home, a long distance hiking guide for family and friends, on Amazon.
It is the season.
It is the season.
It's thru-hike prep season.
Yes. And if you are looking for a way to let your parents know that you will be taking on a thru-hike, or your significant other or your family or your friends, this makes a perfect gift under the tree or the menorah or the insert, celebration of choice. It'll explain to them everything you're doing in a way that is not scary, and also will give you a bunch of good tips too, full of quotes.
We're getting close to bringing back the book bundle.
Holiday book bundle.
Yeah, which is paired with Appalachian Trials and or Pacific Crest Trials, which are my books. And Chaunce and I would be immensely grateful for a review on Amazon. Subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on YouTube.
The internet.
That is it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening, and happy hiking.
Bye.